Y'all don't really want it like here comes the y'all don't really want it like here comes the y'all don't really want it like here comes the y'all don't really want it like here comes the y'all don't really want it like here comes the y'all don't really want it like here comes the y'all don't really want it like here comes the You ain't built for a skirt as a nigga can be. It's gonna sound like when I'm coming, like when I'm coming, like when I'm coming for ya. It's gonna sound like when I'm coming, like when I'm coming, like when I come for ya. It's gonna sound like here comes the here comes the here comes the here comes the y'all don't really want it like that.
What is going on, everybody? Happy Sunday morning. Excited to have you with us right here on the Betting News Network. This is the Gridiron Gang. We already got so many goats in chat. Excited to have you with us for football. It's NFL Week 3. The vibes are high. Thanks for stopping by and kicking it with us. That is Trizzy Betts. That is V Sauce. That's Just Suck. My name is Sweatpants Jesus. Stoked to have you guys with us. If you're watching us on X, if you're watching us on YouTube, or if you're watching us on Twitch, thanks for stopping by and kicking it. We'll have Chef T in the house in a little bit. We'll have Gretzky Betsky in the second hour of the show. Vibes are high. Ready to rock and roll. Boys, happy Sunday, NFL Week 3. Let's get after it. How we doing? Goats are muted for V, just making sure you know.
Boys, the weekend is fantastic. I think it's funnier that we didn't all start talking over each other rather than we were all just, silent. Because I think the norm is on a football Sunday just to get right after it. But still looks a little bit MySpace right now.
Oh. I hung out with Jenny a little bit last night, but we do have a sub bang, boys, so let's focus on that.
Let's go.
Excited to have all you guys with us. Padge, appreciate the sub. Thanks for stopping by and kicking it. And yeah, this is a football show, but we're gonna celebrate in just a second. We got a lot of things to celebrate today, boys. Woo, baby. Appreciate you, Padge. Rock and roll. If you're watching this on X, you can keep watching us on X if you're here via our friend Chef T. But come and hang out with us on Twitch. You can hang out with our chat and get vibey over here. So come and kick it with us, twitch.tv/bettingnews. It's free to watch, and on YouTube if you want to kick it over there as well. All right, guys, I just looked. It hit the count. It's official. Asia Wilson is your WNBA MVP. 45-1 ticket. Hit the account. Fucking go. Vibes are high. Let's get it. Chat, congratulations if you tailed. July 3rd, boys, was the day that we booked that ticket. And it's been a 3-month sweat and we got there. We got over the line. Love to
Plus
see it.
4,500.
Well deserved.
Let's go. Let's blow it all on football. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Let's put it all on the touchdown parlay we're going to do today. But no, congratulations to a lot of you guys that listened in. Hey, sometimes we give out bets that don't hit whatsoever, and sometimes we give out some stuff that's fun. But this was a crowning moment for me as a CLV situation. This is one of the only times that this has ever happened in my entire life from a futures perspective. So, shout out to you guys if you tapped in as well. I mean, I put a cup of coffee on it, but I won a bunch of cup of coffees. So that's
hey, it's
that's
future, right?
Absolutely. So we appreciate you guys stopping by. We're going to talk all about NFL Week 3. We got a lot of fantasy stuff to get to. We're going to jump in. We're going to go game by game with you guys, give us the bets across the entire slate, and then we're going to cook a touchdown parlay at the end of the show. So drop what you guys like in the chat as we go game by game. Let us know what you guys are thinking. If you have questions on your fantasy lineups, whatever it may be, get involved in the chat. We're going to have some vibes to kick off your day. Anything else, boys? Or shall we just jump straight into it?
Let's jump right into it.
Football.
Let's talk some football, baby. We're going to so this is your weekly fantasy reminder to set your fantasy lineups. Go out there and set your lineups if you haven't already. We're going to talk about a lot of bets, but kick off the show with some fantasy action. So today for stud or dud. Now, guys, we've done this last couple years on the show. And the first couple weeks, I kind of went a little chalky. Today, I kind of wanted to ask you guys some more hard-hitting questions on the stud or dud. Ooh. So first one up, quarterbacks. The number 8 ranked quarterback on ESPN today is Daniel Jones, taking on the Tennessee Titans. Last week, 23 of 34 for 316 passing yards, a passing touchdown, did scamper into the end zone for not that many yards. So, Triz, I'll let you lead us off. Stud or dud? Do you think Daniel Jones continues this run as he has looked really good in the first couple weeks of the season? Or do you think that he comes back down to earth today? Are you starting him or are you sitting him?
I mean, his floor's got to be so low. Does it not? I mean, the floor has to be very, very low, especially with the talent around him. We've yet to see that Jonathan Taylor takeover game, which it's coming. You know what I mean? It's bound to be here one of these Sundays coming up. So maybe it's this Sunday. That Titans defense is pretty stout. So, I mean, there is the rushing upside. So it seems like he's getting the ball a lot in the red zone, the QB sneaks and stuff like that. But again, Jonathan Taylor's waiting to break out. So I would probably bench him today, honestly, after 2 great weeks. If you have somebody that you're a little bit more confident in, maybe that 10, 15 point type of guys, I just feel like the floor of Daniel Jones is probably sub 10 points. So if you're confident, you have another quarterback that is probably going to score a little bit more than 10, maybe 15, I would probably roll with that.
Trizzy, I don't have another quarterback. I just picked up Daniel after Joe Burrow going down. So you're making me very sad right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that game today is going to be a slugfest. I really don't think there's going to be much scoring in that game. I think it's going to be a very low scoring game defensively. Divisional matchup. You know what I mean? Which affects the fantasy points, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm the one on the other side of this. I think the Colts have looked really good. And Daniel Jones, I know it's 2 games into it. This is probably the time that you want to fade him or maybe just at least move him to your bench and allow a little bit of quiet, work for this guy. But this Titans team, gave up almost 200 yards to Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua last week. They allowed Matt Stafford to do whatever he wanted in that second half. And I understand for the first half they looked good, but I just don't think that this Titans defense is as good as it's looked through the first 2 weeks, as weird as that sounds. And I think Daniel Jones has looked elite. I think Michael Pittman Jr. has a great matchup today. We'll talk about that. And then Tyler Warren. The weapons he has on this offense, the way that they're kind of coming into these games, you have a chance to start 3-0 for the first time since Peyton Manning was still since Andrew Luck was still under center for this franchise. You're doing it as a divisional opponent today. I like Daniel Dimes.
I think you guys kind of covered all the points there. We'll talk about this when we get into this game a little bit further. But interesting that could you guys even imagine that week 3 would be talking about Daniel Jones as a top 10 fantasy option in the quarterback situation?
Oh,
crazy how this season has
incredible.
He has been very good. The Colts have also been good. We'll talk about that game in a little bit. Let's move to the running backs. Stud or dud? VL, let you kick us off with your guy. Josh Jacobs, the number 8th ranked running back this week on ESPN. Obviously, the Packers' great starts to the season, but tough matchup for him today against the Cleveland defense. 23 rushes for 84 yards last week. Did get in the end zone. Sauce Main, even though I think that you're probably going to lean one direction with your Packers hat on. Do you think that Josh Jacobs is going to be good this week? Or are you possibly thinking about putting him on your bench? Stud or dud?
Man, you know me, I love Josh Jacobs. I think this is going to be a situation where they might be up as well. But this Cleveland front seven is actually scary hours. Myles Garrett, whether you double team him, triple team him, he's getting to the quarterback. I don't know if you've seen his pass rush win rate or this rushing defense in general, but they have done a fantastic job. You saw what they did to Derrick Henry last week. I think with all of this that we're kind of taking into account, this is a game where you have to beat them through the air. And this is one of those games too where it looks like an easy win on paper, but it's going to be a grimy game. It's your first game outside of Lambeau this week. It's your first game against it, maybe not a top three team, a team that maybe you're coming in with a little more energy against. And Myles Garrett is by far the best pass rusher we've seen. I understand. And we've got Hutch, right? He's fantastic, but Myles Garrett is in a league of his own. And the way that they've been playing, he allows them to do a lot of things in that, and makes up for a lot of holes in the coverage. I really think that if they want to have success, they got to do it through the air today. So for that reason, I don't know if I'm going to bench Josh Jacobs, but I just don't see him being a stud today.
I don't know about stud or dud, but I have a question for you boys. He could be the fifth back to score in 12 consecutive games. Do you take the reverse correlation or whatever the fuck it's called of taking his under rushing and receiving and then take the tutty?
I don't hate that angle.
Actually, I didn't even think of that. That sounds like fun because a touchdown
doesn't
is
the
minus
team
200.
only 5 backs have ever gotten, only 4 backs have ever scored in 12 straight games. He'd be the 5th. I would assume that the coaching staff would want to get him that accolade.
LaFleur's that kind of coach as well. I would say that.
Yeah,
I would agree. It might be one of those games where the touchdown hits and no other prop hits of his, like the receiving yards, rushing attempts, rushing yards. Like they swipe all of that stuff, but pay out the touchdown at what? What is the touchdown line? Minus 160.
2-1.
Yeah,
something
exactly.
like that.
I saw minus 200 on my book. So like it's one of those things where the books are kind of pointing us in one direction, and that's a high rushing yards line, but a really, really juiced up touchdown.
Yep. Shout out our girl Kate on her prop article at bettingnews.com. You guys can go check that out. One of her favorite plays in her staff play this week is Josh Jacobs under rushing yards. But it's a good way to take it, Sook, if you want to put the under in the rushing yards and then take the tutty. Because this Packers team's probably going to move the football. I mean, the Ravens still took care of this Browns team, even though they didn't. No props hit for that Ravens team last week, and they won by almost 3 touchdowns or maybe more.
I mean, we talk about the Browns defense being good every year, but the team overall is never good.
Yeah. Well, that's just part of the course. We'll talk about that game a little bit further, but I think we can all agree you're not benching him necessarily unless you just have an incredible running back room, but probably dud, eh?
Yeah. I feel like it's a week to week thing with Josh Jacobs as well. He's either gonna boom or he's busting. Like,
but is that a panel moment?
Yeah, watch him have 150 yards and 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns today.
Yeah, facts.
Look at B smile and shake his head at the same time.
He
doesn't know what he wants.
Like the way the last 2 weeks have gone, life's been good. Just know that like at some point something stupid's gonna happen, and I just want to escape Myles Garrett injury free. Like this guy is actually scary hours when you watch him play football.
Facts.
2 sacks in back-to-back games, boys, to start the season, and he just did it against a guy named Lamar Jackson, one of the most agile, shifty quarterbacks in the league.
We'll talk about it when we get there.
Funny, man.
You can have your scary hours a second time on the stream in about 15 minutes. All right, last one, wide receiver, stud or dud. This one's going to be interesting, too. The number 7 ranked wide receiver on ESPN is Devontae Adams. Puka Nacua is like number 2. So you got 2 top 10 running receivers from the Rams taking on the Philadelphia Eagles today. Last week, torched the Titans for 6 catches for 106 yards and a touchdown. Sauceman, I'll let you lead us off once again, since you've been singing the praises of Devontae and this Rams since the beginning of the season. I know you wrote about this game as well. Do you think that Devontae is going to continue this week, and do you think he's going to be a stud once again?
I'm going to talk a lot about this Philly defense in a second, but Devontae Adams leads the team in target share. He's absolutely been fantastic. A lot of the targets haven't even been catchable yet, and that's just because him and his new quarterback are still developing a little bit of chemistry. Stafford didn't play for the entire training camp, and it's kind of showing with his receiver. With Puka, it's not the case. They have a rapport. They already have chemistry developed. But with Devontae Adams, you can see it. And the other thing, too, is Matt Stafford loves to use his wide receivers out wide. He's always loved that. Calvin Johnson was one of those kinds of wide receivers. And with Puka, a lot of his snaps are coming in this slot area, which is great because he's a great route runner, speedy, and just all-around great wide receiver. But Devontae Adams has filled in that role, and it's why he's seen such a big target share. It just went up in week 2, and that's exactly where Philly's weak. So I think he's going to be I think he's going to score another touchdown today, and I think he records probably 80-plus yards.
Yeah, I'll jump in. I agree. I think that he's going to be good again this week. We'll talk about this game when we get there, but the target share's there. Him and Matthew Stafford have created an immediate connection. I could see him maybe scoring another touchdown, and then we'll talk about it more when we get to this game. But yeah, if you have Devontae Adams, you got him late in rounds, luckily for you, and you're probably starting him this week. So I'll go stud again. What do you think, Trace?
I mean,
go ahead,
stud for where you drafted him, 100%. I like that outlook.
As somebody that does have Devontae Adams, I'm starting him in every league. I just feel like with the type of quarterback Matt Stafford is, in any sort of game script, he's gonna get the ball 6 to 7 times a game. With his yards after catch, he really does not like to go down on first contact anyways. So even if he averages maybe 8, 9, 10 yards, each of those receptions, you're getting 10 to 12 points out of a wide receiver too. Or a safe flex play. And I just think his floor is too safe. It's Devontae Adams. He always gets peppered in targets. And now with the emergence of Nakua and how unstoppable he's really been this season, I feel like you can almost talk about he's the second option in the offense. And when your second option is Devontae Adams, one of the best route runners in the NFL, it's going to open up a lot of opportunities. So it also provides fits for defenses. You don't really know like who you can lock down on the offense. Mostly every defense is looking for that one game changer, whether it's a running back, a wide receiver. They kind of have 3 of them here. So I feel like on a week-to-week basis between Kyron Williams, Puka Nacua, and Devontae Adams, one of them is going to pop, and even one of them is probably just going to have a really good game, like 15 to 20, and one of them is going to score the 30, get the 2 touchdowns or something like that. So I think this offense is going to be explosive all year. It's hard to sit them.
It's a good point, Triz, because like Puka's usually the hot route, but Stafford is just so good in the pocket that like he's so calm that when Devontae runs that route really fucking nice, he's just gonna fucking pop it to him in the second choice.
Yep.
Nobody goes through their reads like Matt Stafford does. I will say that. Like
100%. Well, also the connection that they formed, because I watched every snap of that game last week against the Titans. Like he was like slinging it sidearm, and Devontae was like picking it off the fucking turf, and he was double moving. Like Devontae looks back, and like this is the first time we talked about it going into the season for him. This is the first time in probably 4 or 5 seasons that he's had an elite quarterback throwing him the football. And what did he do the last time he had an elite quarterback throwing him the football? Scary hours. So we might see that again today. So if you guys picked up. I actually have him in a league 2, Trace. If you picked up Devontae Adams, congratulations. You're probably starting today.
Not to get controversial, but we're not talking about Aaron Rodgers being elite.
Last year for the Jets, no.
Well, I mean, 7 touchdowns in 8 games.
He
was elite like 5 years ago, but I think he was serviceable last year, but he wasn't elite.
He was getting 19 targets a game last year, bro. Like literally 19 targets a game.
Hey, I'm just trying to stir the pot. The pot.
Yeah, I mean, it was a decent stir. All right, that was Stutter Dud. There's a couple questions that I'll go to from that I will go from the chat just before we jump into each go game by game. If this is your first time being with us, thanks for stopping by. Come hang out with us on YouTube or on Twitch. If you're on X, if you're watching us on X on Chef T's, he'll be here. Don't worry. He's just doing dad stuff right now. He'll get here in a little bit. One question which I thought was good from the chat, just from a fantasy perspective, before we jump into these games. Here you go. Kyle Pitts or Njoku, and then Garrett Wilson, Pickens, or DK Metcalf. Obviously, this also depends on who else you got, obviously, but I'd lean Pitts in the tight end department. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it would. Fannon's kind of taken over there, no? At the tight end position, I would say. Yeah, I mean, he's getting all the targets and stuff. I mean, I have Njoku on one of my teams, so I know he scored like 8 points back-to-back weeks. So I guess it's kind of a safe floor, but it seems like Fannon's taken over there. That one seems kind of like a no-brainer. The other one you can argue a little bit more.
Yeah. What do you
Yeah,
guys think, boys? Tight ends?
I got fan and props today. I'll talk about him later, but I think Pitts is the way to go regardless. I like Pitts a lot today. I think they're fantastic with Carolina. They run a lot of cover 3 zone, which is something Pitts is fantastic against. And they've given up big games to tight ends already. They gave up almost 80 yards to McBride with 7 receptions, 4 receptions to the rookie in Brenton Strange for the Jaguars, and they gave up a touchdown to the second stringer in Jacksonville. So I really think that this is a spot where Pitts is going to get one in the end zone, but I'll talk more about that later. And then I got Pickens. I think Pickens is going to have a big game today against the Chicago secondary.
Oh, speaking of secondaries and speaking of defenses, I think Mr. Garrett Wilson, he's either going to be boom or bust, and I think the boom could be big because that Buccaneers defense, we're beat up. We are down about 7 starters on both sides of the football. It's going to be an interesting game out there.
Yeah. I like the Pitts play, and I think I would argue either Wilson or Pickens. I think one of those two would be my choice. But one more question from the chat, too, since we're on this train before we jump in. J.K. Dobbins or Tony Pollard today, boys, from Double Down Dewey? A little bit of bias, but give me Pollard. I don't think the Colts rushing defense is really good, and Pollard has been sneaky good so far for the Titans this season, and I think they're going to lean on the run game a lot in this one to kind of keep this game close and not have to totally put it on Cam Ward. So I would go Pollard for the opportunities as what he's going to do for the Titans.
Pollard's one of, I think, 5 running backs seeing a 90+% share of the rushing attempts. So just based on volume alone, I like Dobbins. I also like the matchup that he has today. But I do think that with RJ Harvey in the backfield kind of cutting into his snaps and the rushing attempts, Pollard's volume is just the ceiling is that much higher.
Thanks. Word. All right, there you go. Thanks for asking the question, Chef. Feel free to get involved and let us know. We're about to go game by game with you guys. So if you have plays in each game that we're talking about, drop it in the chat and let us know what you guys got. We're also going to be doing a giveaway later today in the show. We got the Rhythm Bet of the Day. Chef T will be here. Bessie's going to be here. The vibes are high. Thanks for kicking it with us and hanging out. All right, boys, let's jump straight into it. Let's get after it with this game to start us off. The Raiders taking on not Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders, but Marcus Mariota and the Washington Commanders. 3.5-point spread is kind of danced around the 3 and 3.5 number, over under set at 44 flat or 43.5, depending on where you're shopping. Interesting game on both sides. I don't like this game at all, so I will let one of you lads take it over and talk about this one a little bit deeper. Are you guys buying the bad news with the Commanders? Marcus Mariota coming in and taking some snaps here for this team, or do you think the Raiders can finally get over that really bad performance we saw on Monday Night Football? Trez, I'll let you lead us off, dude. What do you like in this game?
I took the over, man. I think we're going to get a lot of points in this game. I really do. You're getting Geno on one side. He's kind of shown that he can move the football over there in Las Vegas. And yes, Jaden Daniels is out, but Marcus Mariota is one of, if not the best backup quarterback in the league. He's very serviceable, very knowledgeable. He can make the throws. He's still athletic. He's relatively young. And so I think he's going to be able to lead this offense. This offense is very stacked in almost every facet. Their wide receiver room is really good. We've been waiting for Terry to kind of pop off a little bit. This might be the game Terry pops off. I kind of like his touchdown today. And I think it's going to be high scoring, back and forth. This total, 43.5. I don't know if it's 44 or 43.5. I saw 43.5 this morning. All the money's coming in on the under, and they're not really moving it that much.
What do you think about the kid, Trez, the Genty?
Yeah, that as well. You know, he hasn't really popped off yet either. And this defense could be that game. You know what I mean? It could be that game where the young guys just kind of go off, and Marcus Mariota is going to kind of lead this offense. I think this offense is the way this offense is set up, the way Kingsbury has this offense set up. I feel like Mariota is going to just be a plug and play type of situation. He has the football IQ. He's a veteran of the league. I kind of agree with the spread as well. It seems too free to me. So I'm just rolling with the over. I think the Raiders are going to be able to score at least a little bit, a couple touchdowns, field goal here and there. But I mean, I do see the Commanders running away with it eventually.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess maybe I'm on the other side, Trizzy. I know I like points in this one, but I am on the Raiders plus 3.5 here. This is a situation where I kind of bought the bad news. The line moved on me already to +3.5 before Jaden Daniels officially listed as out. But the reason I'm liking this one, to be honest, is I think this Raiders team is better than people are giving them credit for. They had a really bad week last week, but against the Chargers defense that is really fucking good. 3 interceptions from Geno Smith in their first home game with this new squad, new head coach, so many new changes here in Las Vegas. I think today against the Commanders team, whose defense hasn't really been the best, right? Their offense has looked good at times, but now you're getting another quarterback coming in. You lost Austin Eckler last week, and Terry McLaurin really doesn't look like he's been that guy, having missed training camp and all of that stuff. I feel like there's a lot of question marks here on this Washington Commander side. And when I was looking at the splits earlier this week, it was a lot of discrepancies here. We're seeing a large portion of the handle here on the Raiders side. I think the line since moved. Maybe a little bit of action has also changed with the news officially coming out. But I do believe in Geno Smith and the Raiders in this spot.
I'm tailing this, V. I'm tailing this right now.
I'm on a few dogs today, boys. It's going to get weird and wonky. A lot of them are sharp spots. I hope, Triz. I fucking hope. But I'll talk more about it. This Raiders one is one that's moved on me a little bit, especially in terms of sharp splits. But that's, I think, because of the injury news that's come out since it's officially come out. People buying the bad news in a sense, or not buying the bad news in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
I still like it. I think the Raiders team is good.
I mean, ever since SPJ talked about his side piece of the Rams, I've been peeking and prowling for my side piece. The Raiders were kind of there, 1-1. They might be my pesky Portland in the NFL, boys.
That's a nasty side piece, dude. That's the kind of side piece you call like when you're like 2 o'clock in the morning. You got like half a euro in your hand. Like that's what the Raiders are as a side piece, dog. Like that's nasty work. But it's always fun every time you go and you go back. So that's why.
I will say I like the drama. I like how the running back is saying, "Hey, I need more touches," and then coach is saying, "Hey, I'm trying to save you for later." And we saw how that went with Arthur Smith and the Falcons with Bijan. Why are you saving these fucking young guys for later? They're young, they're hungry. Run their asses right now. Just fucking let it go.
From the Commander's side too, even though I know that we talked about the Jaden Daniels thing, which is obviously the most important piece that's missing for this offense, but this is also the first game that we're not going to see Austin Eckler out there. And I know that Austin Eckler was not a bell cow running back, right? But he was providing veteran leadership out of the backfield, was getting all of those passing down situations out of the backfield, catching some screens and some dump downs and pass blocking. Now, I know that Bill is a fun story and like he's a rookie and all that jazz, and he's probably the better overall running back, but this Kingsbury offense is very complicated. There's a lot of stuff that has to go, and that's why they didn't feel comfortable rolling with Bill more consistently, because Eckler did so much out of the backfield in the passing department and, like I said, pass blocking. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. You know, this is a Raiders defense that has Max Crosby, can wreck a game very easily. Maybe that comes to play here too. So I kind of like the over you're talking about, Triz. I lean with you too, V, on the Raiders. I think that's probably the A side, but I don't like this game. This game's stinky to me.
I think that's a great point that you bring up, SPJ, and it's the pass blocking. And that's exactly what we've seen from rookies this season. They've had issues with, from Genty to RJ Harvey to get these young running backs are not pass blocking the way that is required in the NFL, and it's allowing their quarterbacks to get hit. And I think this offensive line we've seen struggle all season long. They did not have it against the Packers, and I understand it's not Micah Parsons, but like you said, it's still Max Crosby on the other side of the line, and I think they're going to have problems with him. But just one quick prop before we move on. Jacoby Myers, over 64.5 receiving yards. Boys, I'm going back to it for the third week in a row. Probably famous last words. But I learned something last week with Geno Smith's 3 interceptions. You know what that is? Is that it doesn't matter if he's triple covered or quadruple covered. Geno Smith is going to throw the ball to Jacoby Myers. Right? 100%. He had 3 red zone targets last week, and that doesn't include the interception from about 25 yards out. This is a situation where he is going to be fed. There is nobody else in this receiving room. If you're looking at guys like Trey Tucker, you're going to have a bad time. I know Brock Bowers has been fantastic, but Austin Genty in this run game has not been good. They have done a poor job of run blocking on that offensive side, which is weird because they had 3 offensive linemen that looked absolutely elite last year when it was Gardner Minshew in the backfield. I think this is a situation where you're going to have to get better. Pete Carroll understands that, and he's going to have this team ready for Sunday. But give me Jacoby Myers over 64.5 receiving yards.
Let's go, V.
Yeah, I like that. All right. I think that's enough on this game. Should we keep it moving? We got a lot of games to get to. I didn't expect you guys to have as much to say about that game, but here we are. That's probably going to be.
It's very par for the course that we talk about the grimy games, and SPJ, that really reminds me of like NBA season that's coming up soon. We talk about the Wizards so much. That's just who we are. That's just who we are.
I mean, amen. If you guys are bettors out there, if you're degenerates, which a lot of you guys are, which is why you love the program, we're going to go and we're going to find every single angle for you guys in every single game. So, you guys came to the right spot if that's your vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of grimy, let's go to this one. Another NFC South battle between the Atlanta Falcons and those Carolina Panthers. 43.5 is the line here. This line has moved to Scotia since this graphic was made. 4.5 is the line now towards the Panthers, so it did drop a point. Sauceman, I'll let you lead us off, dude. What are we thinking here? Do we think the Panthers can be frisky finally?
Sauceman,
on a railroad.
Sauceman, talk to us about the reception prop. Please tell me you're taking the same prop you've been pitching.
Yeah, the Kyle Pitts prop. Oh,
no,
or Chuba Hubbard prop.
The Chuba receptions.
I do like the Chuba receptions prop. The reason I like it a lot today, too, so is this Atlanta pass rush has been way better than first anticipated. Last year, they were 30th in pressures. They did not look good on the defensive line, but that's flipped this year. They're getting pressure on the quarterback. They're kind of bringing some exotic blitz packages and really got opposing quarterbacks in hell. We saw it with J.J. McCarthy on primetime. I know everybody wants to point fingers at J.J. and say he wasn't good, but it's really hard to be good behind a poor offensive line when the other team is playing so well. I think this is a situation with ATL and Bryce Young where he commits a lot of turnovers. He doesn't like playing under pressure, and this is a situation where you have to look at your guys like Chuba Hubbard. On the outside, you're going to have a matchup with your rookie wide receiver and Ted McMillan against one of the best corners in the league on the other side of the ball, right? One of the best coverage teams in the league on the other side of the ball. I like the Chuba play, but I'm taking Kyle Pitts to get in the end zone for the first time this year. Plus 290, boys. My juiciest touchdowns.
Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts. I wrote about it this week, chasing six. Go peep the scribbles, but plus 290. This line, it's not one of those line reads. This is just a pure matchup read. The Carolina Panthers rank top 3 in cover 3 usage since last season. Kyle Pitts sees a 59% increase in production against cover 3 units. This is a team that is employing almost exclusively zone coverages on defense, and that's exactly where a guy like Pitts thrives. A big-bodied receiver that's good at route running and can find holes in the defense. Michael Penix has this guy second in target share this year, but he has yet to see a target in the red zone. The Panthers have struggled against tight ends, giving up 2 big games, one to a rookie in Brenton Strange, and then the second one to, who was it last week? McBride. This is a team who ranks bottom 3 in linebacker coverage grade, and I think, again, this is Kyle Pitts, a guy who is as fast as a slow wide receiver, and I mean that in a complimentary way. He's fantastic. He's a big body, and he provides a big target. So I think in the red zone, plus 290, you got to give it to me.
I love it.
That's a juicy one, dude. That is a juicy one. I got to play in this game. I talked about it a little bit earlier this week. It's a little bit more on the chalkier side of things. I'm just going to roll with the chalk, boys. Give me Honey Bijan over 108.5 rushing and receiving yards. He has absolutely torched this Carolina Panthers team, 25th in rushing yards allowed so far on the ground this year. I understand Algier can probably have a good game on the ground too. I don't hate that angle if you want to go the backup route, but he's been awesome to start the season. He's starting to get in maybe into the conversation for Offensive Player of the Year if the Falcons keep cooking this year and if he keeps cooking the way he's been playing. So I think he continues what he's been doing today. If you want to just take the rushing yards, go that direction. 108.5 is the rushing and receiving just because of how good he is out of the backfield with Penix throwing him the ball. I think that he's going to eat some Panther today. So give me Bijan over 108.5 rushing and receiving. Again, a little chalky, but nothing wrong with taking some chalk for the superstar today.
Yeah, I like it. The rush defense has not been there. This is fantastic. Eat some Panther was also great. So
Eat some Panther, baby. PETA, don't call me. It's okay, though. What do you think about this game, Triz? You got any thoughts on this one?
I mean, another divisional matchup here. I do know that the books really need Panther today. I do know that there's a very heavy handle on the Falcons. And the other thing I do know is the books have gotten cooked through 2 weeks of NFL betting. I have a strong inkling to think that they will not be getting cooked 3 weeks in a row. So there's going to be some sharp stuff that hits today. Carolina last week covered for me on the back door. It seems as if they love the back door. They're kind of always living there, always losing the entire game. Next thing you know, fourth quarter, Bryce starts to tossing the ball around, and they're within 7. So, I mean, the spread's less than 7. It's 5.5, which now we're down to 4.5 again with, all the money is coming in on the Falcons. I've seen multiple sports books talk about how they need the Panthers today. Yeah, I kind of like the Panthers. I don't have the balls to take them twice in 2 weeks and expect them to cover 2 sharp spots. If they do, I'll be sitting here really disappointed I didn't take them, but I'd rather do that. I know this Panthers team is not very good, but
you guys ever had cats as pets or like hung around with cats in your house? Cats are always sneaky as fuck, and they also like to slip out the back fucking door, little cats. So Panthers are the same. Meow, indeed. Also, our man Dave Mason came on Thursday, Triz, to confirm exactly what you just said. And he said it, and he is in charge of the numbers for Bet Online. He said they got their teeth kicked in the first 2 weeks of the season. But he said in the end, it always ends up coming up in the wash. So we'll see what happens.
Historically as well, I want to talk about this. Historically, week 3 has been very big for underdogs. Very big for underdogs. I don't know the exact statistics. I just know they're really lopsided. Week 3 is a big underdog week usually, and it's just interesting. They've gotten their teeth kicked in, like you just said, first 2 weeks, and then now the board is kind of filled with a bunch of sharp lines and some big needs for them. They could make it all back today. If
I think he said betting early is better, contrary to what people believe.
Really?
A lot of you guys might be locking in some plays right now, right before kickoff. There's also the opportunity. There's a lot of lines that have moved quite a few points since these lines dropped earlier this week, which could end up playing a big factor in some of these spreads, which is always the case. So lock in your stuff earlier. Follow us at bettingnews.com. Follow us right here. We go live every single day. But if you're just locking in some bets right now, then, get after it. Another sharp spot. We'll see if this one is another situation. Really excited to hear you guys talk about this. Not because I'm a Titans fan, but I know that we're going to have some opposite ends of some spectrum.
Wait, sorry. Before we move on from that game, I think we need to also mention Rico Dowdle. He had 1,000 yards last season. He's only had 12 and 9 yards for the first 2 games this season. I do think that they include him more in Carolina's offense tonight. This morning, 16.5 is his rushing and receiving yards. It's pretty low. He's been a serviceable guy in this league for a long time.
That's a pull, dude. Are you betting that? Or are you just saying that just to have it as a throw out there?
You know what? Fuck it. I will put a unit on Dowdle 16.5 right now.
Okay. Rushing and receiving.
No, just the rushing, 16.5.
Okay. All right. So Rico Dowdle. Yeah. And Kev likes the back door too. He's like a little kitty cat.
Leave that in chat. I'm sorry. I'm a child.
That's okay. All right. Let's jump in. So Rico Dowdle. So for 16 rushing yards. If he might score a touch. Watch him score a touchdown too, in proper kitty cat fashion. The back door.
I mean, he was great for the Cowboys, and his entire contract is incentive based for this season. I'm sure he's hungry for week 3 after being limited in the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, as long as he gets opportunities, we'll find out. All right, let's go to this one in Nashville today. The Titans taking on the Colts. It was 4. It's out now up to 5.5 in most places. So this line has jumped around a little bit over the last 24 hours. Over under set at 43.5. The Colts, as we were talking about with Daniel Jones earlier, looking to maintain their undefeated start to the season. The Titans looking to finally get a win. Been fairly frisky, but fell apart a little bit last week against the Rams. Divisional matchup. These are always funky in Nashville today. V, I know you said you got pretty heavy thoughts on this one, so I'll let you lead us off here. What is your take on the Colts and the Titans?
Like I said, divisional matchup. The line's kind of tight here. It's moved towards the Titans since opening. I think it did come out around close to -5, 5.5. But outside of just a line read or a total here, I'm looking at Daniel Jones and the way that he's been playing. Not only has he been fantastic, putting a big yardage, but he is one of the guys that is leaders in average depth of target. He is not afraid to put the ball out there for his receivers. He has been doing it time and time again. I think Michael Pittman Jr. in a week that he's coming off a matchup last week where he saw was Sauce Gardner. I can't remember who the matchup was on the other Sauce Gardner, but he had a really elite matchup on the other side, and he just didn't have a good game. Not really. So sorry, Pat Surtain, obviously the reigning defensive player of the year, and Michael Pittman still had a decent target share. This is a situation where you're going from Pat Surtain, and now you're going to play against a Titans secondary that just gave up 200 yards to their top wideouts for the Los Angeles Rams. I think he's going to see a big target share again today. I think he's going to have another big game. And his 46.5 line or 49.5 is where his receiving yards line is sitting at. I think that's just too low. I like the touchdown too at plus 230, but I'm really just leaning heavy on the receiving yards here.
Triz, what do you think about this game from a line perspective? Because it's flipped a lot since it got dropped in the summer. Well, it was a crazy line to start in the summer, and then obviously now the Colts have been great to start the season. Line moved even further, and now it was 4.5. Now it's 5.5. What do you think about this line move?
I see why it's moved, obviously, because the Colts have been great, but I don't see the Titan love like this week. You know what I mean? Like I just don't. What if they really shown that is going to show that they're going to compete with how hot this Colts team is? I'm sorry. I don't mean to shit on your parade, but if Cam Ward's just kind of played games close. I mean, he hasn't really been like too flashy. Maybe he does have a breakout game, but this Colts defense has been phenomenal. They kept Bo Nix at May, and that offense was doing everything they can, clicking on a lot of cylinders, and they just couldn't move the football like consistently. I don't know if Cam Ward's going to be able to do that. I do think this game's kind of just going to be a slugfest, so maybe that's where the 5.5 line comes in. But I don't know, man. I wouldn't want to have a Titans ticket in my hand today, personally. It doesn't seem. It seems like one of those. It's a sharp line, but not in a sharp spot, if that makes sense. Titans not a team I can trust to cover a sharp line right now.
What do you think about Daniel Jones fantasy owners? I know we already talked about it, but do you think like he excels?
Like I said, his floor is. I don't know. I'm waiting for the Jonathan Taylor breakout game, and I kind of feel like it's going to be today, just because it's going to be. I think it's going to be a grudge match, back and forth. A lot of running the football. I agree with SPJ said about Tony Pollard. I think Tony Pollard's probably going to have a great game. He's been very quietly good. He had 10 points back-to-back weeks, and you look at him getting the ball 19, 20 times. I think he had 80 yards one week, 100 the next. He's just not getting that touchdown, and he doesn't get much of the receiving work. I don't know who is right now. I know Spears is out, but again, I think it's grudge match back and forth. A big rushing attack plays a role in the game today. Maybe that's where Daniel Jones's floor will be. Maybe he gets the QB sneak touchdown. I don't know. Vsauce did say this Titans defense was kind of getting shredded last week, but I don't know.
What about our boy?
Matt Stafford's a little different than Daniel Jones. I would like to say,
very much so.
Like just a little.
Maybe
you know, I'm running the streets with Daniel Jones MVP chance. I promise you that.
You love a lot.
You're gonna be running on those streets alone, my man, alone. All right, on that note, you lobbed me a softball, Triz. I'll go ahead and talk about JT. As you mentioned, Jonathan Taylor is due for a breakout game. Had a really good game last week, 165 yards on the ground against the Broncos, and I think we could see something similar again today. I got a good line here. This was 87.5 earlier this week. It's up to 90.5, 92.5, depending on where you're shopping. I don't care. I think he gets 100+ on the ground. This Titans defense, not very good against the run, and they're missing T'Vondre Sweat today, who got put on IR yesterday, who is a big clogger in the middle, which is going to be a huge miss. I think that he could very much so torch the Titans. He has played them a lot, as you said, as an AFC South opponent. And the last time you saw the Titans at the end of the season last year, he had 218 yards on the ground. So I think we could see a big game from JT today. I'm not going to tell you guys to bet the Titans, like you said. I, of course, have in my back pocket because I'm a fan, and I'd like to sweat out that aspect. But I do not feel like that it's a good play to give to you guys live on the show. So I could see the Colts winning this game by a touchdown, 10 plus possibly, with how the Titans fall apart in the end of games. I think we could also find out today if the Colts are legit. But I think you guys can agree that if the Colts drop this game to the Titans, everyone's going to be like, well, the Cinderella run's over for the Colts. It's one of those situations. So should be an interesting one in Nashville, though. Guys, going to get anything else on this one, or should we keep it rolling?
I think we got to talk about the pride of Medicine Hat, Alberta, SPJ. Come on now.
You want to talk Iowa Manor?
The 4 receptions is plus money. This guy has 13 targets in 2 weeks. He's obviously been fantastic. I actually did a deep dive into him, SPJ, last night. His come to the moment was against Travis Hunter. So this is a guy that's kind of late to his moment, but now is his moment. 13 targets, only 6 receptions in the first 2 weeks. He's got 1 tutty. I do think the 4 receptions at plus money is not an official play from me, but I do think that's definitely worth it. And AO Minor, me and SPJ are going to just be singing his praises and watching him all year. I have him in fantasy, and I do think that he's a guy that's going to really surprise and slops on him. Remind me what the play is, SPJ?
He has the catches as well, 4+ for Iowa Manor. The receptions, I think the receiving yards is a good play too. He is Cam Ward's kind of safety blanket, which is weird to say for a rookie 5th-round wide receiver. But he made some great catches last week. Obviously, made that crazy touchdown, which I'm sure a lot of you guys saw on the timeline. And the Rams defense is good. So I think he's definitely going to get opportunities today. Ridley's also due for a breakout game. But again, like Trizzy was saying, until I see it, I don't really want to totally tell you guys to bet it out there. But I think Iowa Manor is the safety blanket for Ward, and I think that 40+ could very much so be on the table, and maybe sneaks in and finds the end zone again. So we shall see.
The thing about Iowa Manor too, I will say, every time you see a rookie quarterback come in, it's not surprising to see him develop a little bit of a connection with another rookie wide receiver, when they're especially same draft class. Rome, Caleb Williams, we've seen it with them as the most recent example, right? There's other examples you can think of too, but I kind of like that rookie connection where it's like you come in on the same page because you guys are going through the same things at the same time. So I like that a lot. And
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, SPJ. Like the 1 tutty he threw to AO Minor was like, all right, I'm just gonna chuck it at this guy and make him make the play.
He rolled out to his right, saw Iowa Manor running the other way on the other side of the field in the end zone, and just chucked it probably 40 yards, even though they were on the 20, across the field, and he caught it. A kind of play where you go, no, oh yeah, okay, woo, yeah, touchdown. One of those types.
You just know that Mayo Man's on the bench. Like, what the fuck? When I did this stuff, it never went the right way. Do you know what I mean? He literally even did that.
I mean, not
that
exactly, V. I was gonna say, not to derail us, but that falling pass, I know a lot of people like to post that he's doing what Will was doing, but it's working for him. It's the little things. When you saw Cam with that falling pass, he had a back and a follow through. He knew exactly what he was doing. It wasn't like he just threw the ball. He had a follow through and went back like a golf swing. He knew exactly what he was doing.
Oh, for sure. And Mayo Man, NZ understands. Mayo Man is not even on the Titans anymore. He's in California recovering from his shoulder surgery. So he's probably sitting on the couch. He's not on the roster? Nope. He's technically a member of the Titans, but he's on IR. So, he can't.
You got to frame that jersey with, a mayo jar in the bottom.
You might have to stop buying Titans jerseys if you want them to succeed. That might be
for real. I haven't bought one this year. I still have. When I've been wearing my Titans jerseys, I've been wearing my Derrick Henry one because that one will be forever. Okay.
Yeah, that's timeless.
That's legendary.
Absolutely. Yep, I'll wear it next week when I go to Arrowhead. Shag's already told me that I can because the Colts, or excuse me, the Chiefs are playing the Ravens. But
wait, but is that fair or foul to wear a jersey of a guy? I know he's in the game still, but it's not the same team. I always get weirded out by that at arenas. If you're wearing a jersey of a guy,
Derrick Henry will be playing in that game. That's I didn't realize that.
Yeah, but our boy DC will be wearing the Titans jersey.
Yeah, I'm not gonna buy a Ravens one. Fuck that. And I got Shag's approval because I was like, dude, I'm not wearing a Chiefs jersey, respectfully. And he was like,
just borrow one of Shag's 99 Chiefs jerseys because he's got 1 through 99.
Hell no. But anyway, it's gonna be. I'm not gonna be on the show next week with you guys because I will be live at Arrowhead. So you guys are gonna have to ride without me next week. But I'll be calling in from Arrowhead, and Shag and I will be giving you the parking lot report.
Live from the parking lot. We're so back.
We're so back, baby.
We're back. God. Enjoy that walk.
Oh, yeah.
I need a
My
full
fucking
fucking
running
video
shoes.
of how long that walk is.
Oh, we're gonna have some content from Arrowhead next week. Don't worry. Boys, these smelling salts are looking at me funny. We might do that in a minute too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
SJ lives in
I'll
here.
pick me up.
Right in here.
We'll pick me up. Chat, drop a dub if you're enjoying the show so far. Keep hanging out with us. Chef T will be joining us here in a little bit as well. So will our man Gretzky Betsky. Vibes are high. We'll be cooking a parlay at the end of the show. We're going to do the rhythm bet of the day in a little bit. If you guys are enjoying your morning out there on Sunday. Let's keep it going, boys. Let's go to the next game. Let's talk about this one. Talked about this a little bit earlier with Myles Garrett. The Cleveland Browns welcoming in the 2-0 Packers, one of the better teams in the NFL, maybe in the elite category. Browns 7.5-point dogs here. Over under set at 41.5. No real major movement on this one. This graphic was made a couple days ago, and it's pretty much stayed the same. Sauceman, since it's your squad, I'll let you kick it off. Are you feeling good about taking the Packers today to cover that 7.5? Or are you feeling a little more like if the dogs might be barking in the dog pound today?
There's something Trizzy's taught me. It's that 7.5 is a number that you probably just don't want to touch. That
Get involved.
right beyond a touchdown. That we're looking at a key number here. And 3 years of doing this show with Trizzy on here, I can't touch the spread here. I'm not going to. I'm not gonna. I'm not you. Nope. Nope. Ed Trizzy, please tell me if I'm wrong.
It all depends on the splits, in my opinion. 7.5 is a gross number. If you're holding 7.5 and that team's getting like 80% of the money, 80% of the tickets, then that's not a ticket I want. They're giving the underdog the hook there. But if you're getting a lot of money and a lot of tickets in, such as like the Browns, 65% of the handle on that 7.5 right there. That Packers line starts looking at me a little funny. I start thinking they might roll just like the Ravens rolled, if not roll a little worse, because the Ravens didn't start putting it on until the second half. Again, this is your team. You know a little bit more than me, but they seem like they've been rolling here. This spread kind of doesn't make too much sense. I think this Browns team is just bad, just straight up bad. A line that kind of stuck out to me in this game, Quinshon Judkins, his touchdown line dropped at plus 235 this week.
He'll be the starter.
Yeah, but it's still a little low. Last week he may have not started, but he damn near played the whole game. So it's like it's not going to be much different. They're still going to use the other backs. That Sampson's still going to be involved a little bit. I was looking at that as well. That Matthew Golden touchdown looks a little.
This guy's going to talk about that.
Yeah, I kind of like that. I like that as well. I do. I think the Packers are going to roll today, man. I really do think it doesn't seem like the Browns are a big need for the sportsbook in any way today. And this spread is just really, really big. It was 8.5 at one point. I think it's now fallen a little bit, but they're still giving the hook out on the underdog. I think the Packers roll here, probably 10 points.
See, and this is why I asked Triz, because again, like this, he said, the splits, that's what matters more. And we're not seeing a lot of love for the Browns here from Sharps. That might be exactly why. And I think a lot of people are ready for this Packers team to kind of come back down to earth. But if I'm just speaking purely like from a perspective that I've been watching, Michael Parsons hasn't even been fully worked into this offense. They've got him all over the defensive line. They've got him playing linebacker, but they really haven't introduced any packages. And like our defensive coordinator has said it, they haven't had the time to do it. Week 1, they had no training camp, no time. Week 2, you're off a short week and playing on Thursday night. Now you've had a mini bye week, and I think this is when you start to institute more and more, both defensively and offensively, and it's exactly why I'm going back to my guy here, Matthew Golden. Over 29.5 receiving yards. I am in on the touchdown to a plus 250. If you watched the game last week, you saw Jordan Love miss him on 2 absolute bombs. The first one, I would say, yes, it was batted down by Amos, but this is a situation where Jordan Love's not used to the kind of speed that Matthew Golden brings to the table. He ran a 4.29 in the 40-yard dash this season, the second fastest time coming out of the combine. He is an elite wide receiver with elite running skills and just unmatchable speed. Boys, I really like him to get away from this cover 1 defense. The reason the Browns run so much cover 1 on almost 46% of snaps is because they have Myles Garrett. They don't need to worry about coverage schemes. They can run a lot of man coverage when you're getting to the quarterback in under 2.7 seconds. that's the situation here. But the Packers have done a fantastic job of keeping Jordan Love on his feet. They rank in the top 5 in pass blocking. And I think Zach Thomas came back into the lineup this week, despite the rookie still being good in his absence. I think this is a spot where if Jordan Love can just get 2.5 to 2.8 seconds in the pocket, he's already a guy that gets rid of the ball very fast. And I think Matthew Golden is a guy that's even faster. So the over 29.5 receiving yards, the touchdown, I think it all comes on one play. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but I think they finally connect on a deep shot here after this little mini bye week.
This is your Huckleberry. You've been chasing this one for a couple of weeks.
Whale, man, please.
This is your white whale. Maybe it is this week. Chad agrees with you, and I like the logic too. We all watched him just miss ever so slightly on some of those big ones, and he's going to hit one soon. We also got a sub betting for one of our new It's a good reminder. If you're watching us on Twitch, you don't have to sub. The channel is always free. The content's always free. But if you want to sub and you don't have to watch ads, it supports the channel. We really appreciate you guys. If we help you make some money, and if you're having a good start to your morning, drop a subby. It's always good. A little cup of coffee always helps. Otherwise, just keep enjoying the content. All right. Any other comments on what up? Landon, I'm going to be in your neck of the woods next year, big dog, or next week, big dog. Let's hang out.
Next year.
Yeah, next year in my brain.
You got excited.
I know. V, I'm on this too, but I don't want us to run away from this game without us talking about Fannin Jr. So you want to talk about? I love this play. I booked it this morning as well. This was my last kind of unit that I wanted to deploy. This line makes no sense to me. So let's talk about Fannin Jr.
Yeah, I love Fannin Jr. I think he's been fantastic. I know that Njoku is still seeing a predominance in the snaps, but Fannin Jr.'s snap share has gone up from week 1 to week 2. His target share has been great, and this is a kid who's coming out of Bowling Green. He looked fantastic there. He's not a guy that they have brought in to kind of pass block. They brought him in for his offensive capabilities. He had 1,500 yards, 11 touchdowns in his last season over there. In his time over at Bowling Green. And it's kind of translating here to the NFL. Joe Flacco is a guy that likes to use his tight ends, whether it's 1 or whether it's 2. Fannin Jr. is playing a lot of both sides of a lot of 12 personnel here in Cleveland just because of the lack of offensive line. I like the over 34.5. It's also a spot where the Packers have struggled. Their pass rush has been really, really good. So it's kind of contained the outside guys because of how quickly they're getting to the QB. But Fannin Jr. is a guy who has a low average depth of target, who's playing closer to the line of scrimmage, and has provided a release valve for a QB that's just not mobile at 65 years old. Shout out Joe Flacco.
He's getting that AARP check soon. I love this play too. Also, a note as well. I saw this from Field Yates. Dropped this morning. If Harold Fannin Jr. has 6 catches today, he will have the most catches in his first 3-game stretch in a tight end's career ever in the history of the NFL. And he has 5 and 7 catches in his first 2 weeks of the season. As you mentioned, one of the highest target players on the team, more targets than Njoku. His 48 and 63 yards in the first 2 weeks this week as well. The last point, too, you didn't mention this as well, probably because you didn't want to slander your Packers, but tight ends have actually been cooking against the Packers. Zach Ertz had 64 yards last week. His line was 63 or 33.5. And even though the Detroit Lions looked like shit in week 1, Sam Laporta had 79 receiving yards in that game. So 2 tight ends have cooked this Packers secondary / linebacking core. And I think we could see something similar from Fannin Jr. So, Chad, if you didn't know the name Harold Fannin, you're going to learn it today. I like the ladder, too, dude.
50 yards is like 250 in some places.
I took it to 60 because I'm a
Shut the hell up.
But I took it to 60. I mean, 64 and 79 from Ertz and Laporta, and Ertz getting that AARP check soon as well behind Joe Flacco. I mean, come on now.
V, with those green color glasses off, do you approve of the ladder? Because I'm very interested in this.
Yeah, I do. I think he's going to have another big game. The point SPJ brings up about 6 receptions. I don't think it's something that the team goes out of their way to work him into for. But like if he's sitting there with 4, he might get 2 more looks just to help you really get over that line. You know what I mean? So I like it a lot. I think the 50 plus. I'm really liking a few receiving props today, and some of them are really lower. We'll get to them soon. But I think Fannin Jr. is in a really good spot just because of. They're setting the house. The coverage isn't really there. A lot of over the middle routes are right there. And Flacco can't move. He just can't move. You got to get rid of the ball.
Mm-hmm. Safety outlet,
You said he's 65. So It's tough to move at that age.
The day one of these guys watch this show, I'm cooked. I'm absolutely cooked.
Hey, bro, if Joe Flacco ever watches our show, you know, that's a whole nother ballgame. We had Bronny in here one time. We've got about almost 10,000 you guys watching us right now. We appreciate you guys tuning in to start off your Sunday. Let's go. Let's get it to – we had 17,000 last week. Let's hit 20K this week, boys. We're halfway there pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys. Anything else from this Packers-Browns game before we keep rolling through the slate?
No, let's keep going, boys.
Yep.
Do you guys want to hit the salts now, or do you want to wait until we get after the hour mark?
Let's hit the small. Let's hit the salts, man.
Let's hit the
All
salts.
right. All right, chat. We did it last week. Got our smelling salts. If you want to go and grab another beverage, get after it. Whatever you want to pop another Zen in, whatever gets your juices flowing on a Sunday morning. Welcome to. I'm about to do all of it.
Yeah,
I just opened my jar and got a whiff from a distance.
All right, chat. Here we go. Oh, so did I. Oh God.
Oh my
cheers.
God. Yeah, they like charge up over time. Like,
they've marinated.
Yeah.
They've marinated.
Cheers to another week, NFL Week 3. Let's get after it.
Oh.
That will wake you up.
All right, chat. We're locked in.
We're alive.
all right.
Baker Mayfield.
Baker rushing yards.
All right.
Right, round 2. Okay, let's jump in. Let's keep it rolling. Yeah, same. Let's go. Yeah. Oh, we're getting into it, Justin. Welcome to the party. Welcome to the party. All right, let's move on, boys. Let's go to the next game on the docket. Wow, that really hit. That was what was that? That was necessary.
Yeah.
That was necessary. Yeah, that hit. Oh, show. All righty, let's keep it going. Let's go to Sook's team. Let's talk about the Jets taking on the Bucks. Next game on the schedule that we're going to talk about here. Where is this one? Where is it? Oh, I don't see it. Am I just blind? I don't see. Oh, there it is. It's because the Buccaneers logo was different. You did the creamsicle one because they're wearing the creamsicle today. 6.5-point favorites are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers down in Florida. Jets coming in. No Justin Fields today for the Jets. Tyrod Taylor is going to be starting for the New York Jets. Over under 43.5. A little juice towards the under. Sook, since it's your squad, I'll let you take it away. Is this line a little fishy to you, or do you think the Bucks and Baker roll once again?
I think that they pull it out. They win the home opener, fire the cannons, but I am very worried that that offensive line. Oh my God, the smelling salts. That offensive line is absolutely battered. We just signed a guard from the Buffalo Bills practice squad because the guy we elevated, Michael Jordan, as our guard from our practice squad, he got hurt even. So Baker's gonna be Baker's gonna be in a rough time this week. But I do think that one of the best plays you can take in this game is Baker over 17.5 rushing yards. He averaged 22.5 last year. He's up to over 33 yards in the first 2 games this season. He's got to make things happen with his legs on third downs, on scramble plays. And I really do think that the Jets have an opportunity to make some noise in this game, just because of how beat up the Bucks defense is, because we're not that good in the first place. So now that we're missing like Kalijah Cansey for the year on a pectoral tear, we have a lot of problems. And even though we're going to look absolutely fucking fantastic in those creamsicle jerseys, I think that this game is very scary. And if you're a sharp bettor and you think that the Jets have a chance to cover, I do think that's a good bet if you have a line on it, because I do think that this is going to be absolutely messy game, and I need to stop talking.
You talked for way longer than I thought you were going to. You could have stopped a little while ago. You just kept going. Smelling salts wound you up.
I've been waiting for this game to come up because I want to remind chat about our parlay. I want to tell Trizzy about our parlay. I am lagging hell.
Oh, yeah.
Bye.
Oh, he's gone.
GG's. Peace.
Deuces, gooses. Triz, what do you think about this game? Interesting line, 6.5 points. Tyrod Taylor starting for Justin Fields, but Tyrod's played a lot of games in the NFL. Do you think this is backdoor cover written all over it?
This is red flag massive red flags here. I don't understand what's going on here. I have no idea. Big momentum win for the Bucks last Monday night. I mean, Jets without their quarterback. Yes, Tyrod Taylor's a serviceable quarterback in the NFL, but I mean, when was the last time that guy won a game? Seriously, I don't see how this spread isn't 7.5. I if this was 9.5, I wouldn't look at it funny.
You think we cover?
I don't know. The spread is telling me like it might be the Jets today. The Jets don't cover for shit. So like I don't feel safe taking that, even if it was Justin Fields. But the 6.5 with Tyrod Taylor is really, really suspect to me. I don't see how you guys don't roll. I don't see how this isn't a 24/7 game or something of that nature. So I'm staying away from this game. This game. I haven't seen anything of the books needing one side, the books needing the other side. The splits are kind of even. So, again, I still don't know why it's not 7 yet. Too suspect for me. I'm staying away entirely. I liked Mike Evans to score a touchdown, but I've steadily watched the line get better throughout the week, which also scares the shit out of me. So maybe it's next week Mike Evans gets in.
I agree with you on everything you said. Tyrod, Danny made a really good point earlier on Any Given Wager. I think it was Friday, that Tyrod Taylor is actually a little bit of an upgrade in the passing department to Justin Fields. He's actually got a little bit of a better arm in comparison. I mean, we're not talking about, Tom Brady versus Peyton Manning here. We're talking about two running quarterbacks that can throw the football as well. I actually booked Tyrod Taylor's 17.5 rushing yards when the line dropped on Thursday. However, that line is no longer in existence. It's 24.5 now, so I'm not going to sell you guys that. Chat's kind of talking about it. I think 25 plus for Tyrod on the ground is good, because we've seen it already for the Bucs the first 2 weeks of the season with Penix and Stroud. Both of those guys got loose and were able to run the football. Bucs can rush the passer, so I do think that Tyrod's going to have to move around, and he is obviously a good scrambler, so I think that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, what you're saying, dude, this line is stinky. I can see the Jets fucking around, and unfortunately, so maybe even they come in and win outright for no reason whatsoever.
Oh, they're not winning, but the cover is definitely in play, I feel like.
6.5 feels comfortable.
Just because Cat's talking about it, I do really think that because of the deficiencies in the Bucs defense, either Wilson or Brees will go off. One of them has to. It's either Wilson stretches them out and that secondary is going deep and Brees gets his opportunities, or Wilson is just getting separation from our corners, because I don't know if you guys know this, but Jamal Dean was one of our corners, and we actually were going to release him, and then he took a pay cut, so he didn't get released. So the Bucs secondary, the Bucs defense overall is the weaker aspect of their team. So the Jets definitely have an opportunity to make some noise.
Glad to hear you say that. I think the Bucs should win. I think we can all agree that the Bucs should probably get the job done here, but I don't know. As Trizzy said, week 3s can always be scary hours for dogs, so we'll find out. A couple more noon games to get to, and then we're going to jump into the later slate. Like I said, if you guys are having fun with us, give us a like and subscribe on the channel if this is your first time kicking it. Let's jump to this one. Really interesting game. 2 backup quarterbacks going head-to-head, but 2 guys that have played in the NFL before. Minnesota Vikings taking on the Cincinnati Bengals in Minnesota. This game has moved up to 3 over the 2.5 line, but we're seeing it over-under set at 42.5. Jake Browning versus Carson Wentz in week 3 of the NFL season. How about that, Mapples? Justin Jefferson looking to finally get going. No J.J. McCarthy, as he has a quote-unquote ankle sprain. Don't know if that's actually legit or not, and obviously Joe Burrow is going to be out for most of the season for the Bengals with that turf toe. So Jake Browning will be going once again. Huge win, huge comeback victory last week for the Cincinnati Bengals against the Jaguars. Minnesota looked like ass on Monday Night Football, and here they are sitting as favorites. Triz, as somebody who reads lines a lot and looks at these types of things, what are your thoughts on this game? Interesting, both directions, 2 quarterbacks we haven't seen play football. Well, I mean, Browning a little bit more than Wentz, but what do you kind of think about this one? Carson
Wentz couldn't make the Chiefs' offense work last year. I believe they scored 0 points in a game. The Chiefs. I don't think Kevin O'Connell can do too much with that, respectfully. I like the under in this game. Love the under in this game. It would not surprise me to see the Bengals win outright. It's not a big need. The splits are pretty even on this game too, but I wouldn't trust Carson Wentz for anything at this point. If he could not move the football with the Chiefs, Andy Reid's offense, he's not going to do it with the Vikings offense. JJ McCarthy was struggling a couple weeks ago. Granted, he's still young and stuff. You can say Carson Wentz is a veteran at this point. You know, been in the league for years now. But how do you trust that guy? He scored 0 points with the Chiefs last year. He genuinely scored 0 points in a game. I don't think the Chiefs have scored 0 points in a game in like 15 years. Besides when they gave Carson Wentz the start. So. How do you trust them with the Vikings here? I don't think you can, like, to any extent. So I think I love the under here. I mean, there's a lot of receiving talent, both sides of the ball. Everyone wants to see the matchups, Chase against Jefferson, who's going to do better, but they're boys back, blah, blah, blah. But I don't see how the Vikings move the football at all today. Besides Jordan Mason, what is like this offense really going to do like today? Let's be honest here. I don't see how.
All right. So after Trizzy absolutely shit on Carson Wentz, I will go ahead and try to pitch Carson Wentz over 33.5 longest reception. I will do my best here, boys. Like Trizzy said, his few opportunities in the NFL these last few years have been bad. But in 2022, when he was familiar with the playbook, actually signed on to play some minutes in his last 5 games, he hit this line in 4 of the last 5 with 40-yard bombs, including a 75-yard bomb against SPJ's Tennessee Titans. Carson Wentz obviously is 32 years old. He probably will not be a feature quarterback in the NFL ever again, but this is one of the few times with the JJ McCarthy injury that he will have an opportunity to be under center. And I do think that a guy like him, like Trizzy just said, he has not showed a lot of promise, and now he's north of 30. He'll never be that guy ever again, but he will be that guy today. So I think he will throw a bomb. He will try. I know that Vsauce is on the other guy, but I do think that JJ has a chance to catch a very deep ball. But who was the other guy you were talking about? Remind me.
Jalen Naylor. Jalen Naylor, he's not your household name. He's not somebody that is probably even going to see significant snaps once Addison comes back next week. But the thing is Addison is not back on this team yet. He's not on the field, and he won't be until next week. Till then, Jalen Naylor is your wide receiver too, and this is a guy who ranks near the top in separation score. He is a guy whose 40-yard dash time was not the most, but that first 10-yard split, you can see he has initial bursts of speed, and that's the exact kind of thing that leads to separation, especially against a very bad Bengals secondary. This is a team that isn't really good in the Bengals defense. We know that that's been their kryptonite since last season, and now they're missing their starting quarterback. I do think that Jalen Naylor could stand to benefit from not only the double coverages that Justin Jefferson sees. You can help over and ignore Justin Jefferson to the one side. Safety attention is going to go to his side of the field. And then you're looking at a guy who has great first jump speed, who has good hands, and only makes big plays. His line is sitting at 30.5 receiving yards right now, and I had to tap in. We know Carson Wentz loves the deep ball. He did it with Michael Pittman all the time. I think this is a situation where Jalen Naylor could be that guy and that consistent deep threat. He really has one game to kind of leave it all out there. And the last thing is Kevin O'Connell was literally talking about him in the post-game or during this week's press conferences, saying that, hey, I love everything he's doing, the separation he's creating, the speed that he's showing on the outside. His snap share has gone up in week 2, and his target share went up in week 2. I think Carson Wentz gets him the ball deep, and over 30.5 is one of those low receiving lines I really like today.
To go from a low receiving yards line on the Vikings side, you want to talk about some chalk on the same team?
Hey, I love some low lines, but you know me, I love me some chalk. Jamar Chase, 41% target share back in 2021 with Jake Browning under center. 41%. I know the go-to when your starting quarterback gets injured is to think that, hey, your wide receiver 1 is now going to see a dip in his production, and he probably will in terms of overall. But this is a guy, when that backup comes in, you're looking at first reads. These guys are backups for a reason. It's because they can't go through the progressions properly. So what do? You lean on your number 1. And when you have a guy like Jamar Chase in that number 1 role, you really kind of have to lean on him. I think that Browning is a third-year quarterback, and his story is fantastic. I'll take a second to talk about that. He was cut by the Vikings 3 different times, both off their practice squad and off their training camp team. Last time he played this Vikings team, he had a huge game, over 300 yards, and I don't know, but they had an overtime win with him under center.
Never fucking caught me.
There you go. He was absolutely fantastic. Jamar Chase was all right in that game, but 41% target share is too much for me to ignore. You go to your wide receiver 1, and this coverage team for Minnesota has not been as good as you would think. They rank bottom 5 in overall coverage grade, and I think the pass rush hasn't been exactly what you would want. Harrison Smith Sr. is really I don't know if he's playing today, but he hasn't been 100%, and I think because of that, the secondary is just not looking as good as it could. They also rank near the bottom, I think, I think they're dead last in broken tackles. They have not done a good job of finishing tackles. And if we know anything, it's Jamar Chase can take a 10-yard hitch route into an 80-yard house call, right? So you got to be able to tackle and finish against this guy. So give me the over 70.5. I think books have overcorrected here with Burrow out of the lineup.
I mean, what did he get? 16 targets last week for when Browning went in there. Ended up 167 yards or something like that. Scored a touchdown. I could see something similar again this week. It should be a really interesting game, though. I could see all the different angles. You guys talked about everything. Fascinating to see which backup quarterback is going to come in and play better. The Vikings are going to be able to use that good defense at home, especially even if Carson Wentz doesn't move that offense very well. Or maybe he comes in a little bit of a renaissance. We've seen KOC do a lot of things with guys like Sam Darnold's of the world that can maybe do a little bit of a resurrection of career. Maybe we see the same thing from Wentz today, or Jake Browning and company get the job done once again on the road. Should be a good one. Let's keep it rolling, boys. Go ahead.
Sorry, speaking of Chase Browning, SPJ, boys, any thoughts on the Canadian kid, Chase Brown?
Quiet to start the season, I would say. Quiet with a huge volume and huge target share. So we're waiting for him to pop. It's only a matter of time.
You betting on him to pop this week, Triz?
This game's disgusting. I'm on the under. I'll take the under of everything in this game. Anything you throw at me, I'll take the under. This game is gross.
Okay. Just have to ask. Any Canadians? I got to ask my questions.
Yeah. I was about to say, you just need to have a list of the Canadians that we're going to get a question on it for each individual team. I think every team at this point probably has their honorary Canadian.
So I love that.
Yeah, I love it. All right, boys, let's keep it going. Let's go to Trizzy's team. This one's really interesting. Let's talk about this game. In New England, in Foxborough, over-under set at 44.5. The Patriots taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. 1.5-point dogs are the Pats at home here. Steelers coming into this game after pretty okay start to the season. Defense hasn't looked very good, though. Drake May and company got the job done last week. Looked good and looked really, really potent. In the offensive side of things, Mike Vrabel has seemingly done some of his magic so far for the Pats. Triz, I'll let you kick us off here with your squad here. Do you like the Pats as a home dog here? Or do you think this line's a little suspect?
So sharp, very sharp line. One thing I know about my team, we don't cover sharp lines. It doesn't happen. So it's kind of odd here. We have Gonzo out. DK Metcalf would probably be matched up on him if he was in. Carlton Davis is in, but it's a tough matchup. It's a weird matchup. What I will say is Henderson, I wanted to speak on Henderson. His touchdown is pretty low this week. It's a little bit lower than it has been. And now Ramondre Stevenson has kind of adjusted where his touchdown is the more favored because he's getting more playing time. I said it before the season. Josh McDaniels running back room, it's any given running back, any given week. So this might be Henderson's week to get all of the snaps, which is very common in a McDaniels offense. 1 week, Ramondre, 20, he's getting the ball 20 times a game, 25 times a game. Next week, he's getting the ball 5 times, and Henderson's getting the ball 20 times. It's always been his way of doing things. So Henderson is really, really good. Really explosive, great in pass pro. It's only a matter of time before we actually start feeding him, and maybe this week. I really like Stephon Diggs this week. His lines have been creeping up all week. I've been keeping an eye on the receiving yards. I've been keeping an eye on the touchdown. Touchdown dropped 250. Now it's down to 210, 215 in places. And he's barely been getting the ball.
He just got Cardi pregnant.
Yeah, and he just announced a kid on the way. You know what I mean? He's got to ball out. I do think Diggs might end up getting the ball a little bit this week. I've seen Booty's touchdown being floated around a little bit, and I just don't see why that is so high. So I'd be afraid to touch that. But like he's been one of
Booty's
our biggest.
Been great though.
Yeah, he's been one of our biggest red zone threats. His touchdown's like 370. That's kind of crazy. Like. In my opinion, Diggs is plus 215, hasn't been targeted in the red zone. So that's the type of touchdown I would rather lean on in that game. I don't know how much Aaron Rodgers has left, but I do know Vrabel's defenses look great, especially with blitzes. And I don't think Aaron Rodgers moves the best anymore. So I don't know, man. Like I said, Patriots don't cover sharp lines. So it's a sharp line. It's a sharp play. I would be all over this typically, but like it's because it's the Patriots and I've watched this team for 20 years. It's like it kind of scares me away from it. I'm sure a fellow sharp bettor will look at this line and say, "Oh, I love the Patriots today," but I'm sketched off of it. I do know that the over is being bet to all piss. So that's probably GG.
The over. You're saying
it's 44 and a half. It's getting hammered.
Yeah, I guess I'm on the square side of that one today, Triz, because I am on the over 44 and a half. I wrote about this one. These offenses are a lot better than some guys are going to get them credit for. Aaron Rodgers has looked good last week, not the best, but there was some key turnovers last week that really ended some red zone drives for that Steelers team. We saw the points they put up in week 1, and the Patriots defense without Christian Gonzalez it's not lackluster doesn't even describe how bad it's been. I think they rank dead last in receiving yards allowed this year, and this is a team that really hasn't faced too many good teams so far this year, Miami being one of them, and then I can't remember who they played in week 1, the Raiders in week 1. But this is a situation where now the Steelers are looking really beat up too. On the defensive side, the Steelers are without Derek Harmon. They're going to be without Joey Porter Jr., one of their biggest defensive players, one of their hardest hitters. And then the other thing that I found interesting, Trizzy, I am also on this guy's touchdown. I know you talked about Travion Henderson and him possibly seeing a bigger bulk of the shares, but I do really think that Ramondre Stevenson has done a good job, and I think the job is going to be his as long as he continues to hold on to the ball and move it up and down the field. The thing that stood out to me is you have different coverages, like in terms of running the ball and run blocks. In terms of run block, the best man run block team has been the Patriots. They're averaging 9.7 yards per carry when they're running man schemes in terms of that. That's all the Steelers do. That is exactly what they do on their defensive runs. That's exactly what they're trying to do because of all the defensive liabilities they have defensively with all the injuries. I think this is a team where the Patriots can move the ball on the ground. I think Ramondre Stevens gets in the end zone, and 44 and a half, the line just felt too high for a team that historically plays defense. Two teams that historically play defense, scoring games in the Northeast of the country. Like, this is gritty football, and you're giving me a total at 44 and a half. I know it's probably square, but it feels like points tonight or today.
Here's the other thing too. Steelers 2-0 to the over, so are the Patriots.
See? Like, it's definitely square, but it also feels like one of the overs that maybe not a lot of people are looking at, but maybe my square glasses are on, not round.
I don't know. Like I said, 44 and a half, and this Steelers team's given up a shit ton of points, and they're 2-0 to the over. This Patriots defense, we notoriously do have a good defense. We play great defense, but Gonzo's hurt, and they've been also giving up a shit ton of points, and it's still 44 and a half. That both teams 2-0 to that just doesn't sound like a good recipe for success, in my opinion. I would prefer the under there, especially knowing the tickets, the handle. It's like this, sometimes like this sport isn't the most real type of TV, dude, take it from somebody that took the Bucks under on Monday night. I chalked that shit up in the second quarter. They were 15 points from the over in the second quarter, and somehow that game still finished under. It's just one of those totals that kind of reminds me of that.
That was so hilarious that you tweeted that out at halftime. Come on,
dude! I saw you.
Are you NZ?
It was 21
tweeted that out.
it was like 21-14 or 20-10 or something like that. It took the under 42. That shit was cooked. Like
FPJ tweeted.
You didn't even get past the first quarter, big dog, before you chalked that shit up. As soon as you tweeted that, I was like, oh, this game's going way under now. 100%.
Broken's cake.
Somebody made
Broken's
the call.
Cake.
Somebody made the call.
All right, let's keep it going, boys. We got a lot more games to get to, and we're already up against it as usual. Chad, drop a dub if you're enjoying the show so
FPJ,
far.
I always
Yep,
bother
just
you
do
right
this again.
before the
Yep,
game.
derail
Sorry,
us. Yep,
my bad.
Get after
My
it.
bad.
Go for it.
Trizzy, Ramondre receptions. Any thoughts?
I don't know.
Caught 5 balls last week. Do you think that was just an outlier?
It just goes hand in hand with who's getting the majority of the snap share. And with McDaniels leading the offense, you can't trust Ramondre to get get the ball 20 times a game in that offense. You can week to week, you can't trust any consistency there. Like I'm telling you, there was one year we had like multiple good backs in it was the Deflategate game. I think it was some running back I've never heard of. It was Jonnu something or ran for like 200 all over the Colts and never played again. Like never heard of him again. Oh, Jonas Gray, that's who it was. Ran for like 200. Ran for 200 all over the Colts. We still had Blount. We had James White. Nobody heard of this guy. Ran for 200 against the Colts. Never heard of again. That is who McDaniels is as an offensive coordinator. So it could be Stevenson 20 touches last week, Henderson 20 touches this week, and then some practice squad guy next week for 20 touches. It's how he runs his offense, man. It's hard to trust week to week.
All right, SPJ, I won't do that again.
Hey, Josh. Yeah, no, I can play running back for you today.
For a second, I was like, what?
I'll see you there in a minute. All right, bye.
Acting.
Be like that pretty much. Acting. All right, now. Yeah, exactly. Let's keep it moving. So you can derail us all the time. I was just fucking around with you.
No.
Always. Let's
Trust
keep going.
me, I will still derail us no matter what.
Absolutely. This one's going to be really interesting. Excited to hear Chat's thoughts about this one, too. The Eagles taking on the Rams, a rematch of the NFC divisional round game. Last year, the Eagles looking to stay undefeated. Both teams undefeated to start the season. The Rams 3.5 or 3, depending on where you're shopping. Point dogs here on the road in Philadelphia. The over-unders up at 44.5 is up to 45.5, depending on where you're looking as well. Sauceman, I know you wrote about this game at Betting News. Take it away. What are we looking at in the city of brotherly love today?
There's a lot going on in this game. Like we said, this is a rematch of the postseason last year. The Rams are coming in pissed off, but now they're healthy. The Rams are coming in and they have some new weapons, a.k.a. Devontae Adams on the outside. And their defensive line only looks better. Jared Verse is looking like a top 5 defensive end in this league right now. Not only is his go-to move just a straight-up bull rush, but it's actually unstoppable. The guy's been fantastic. The entire Rams front 7 has been great. And I do think that if anybody is equipped to try to contain this run game of the Philadelphia Eagles, it's this Rams team. I think they have the bodies to do it. I think they have the speed to do it. And I think a guy like Sean McVay, despite what we know about him being an offensive mind, he really has a lot to do with that defense down in Los Angeles and the way that these players are coached. I think that he's going to have his guys ready saying, hey, look, this is a team we're probably going to see again in the postseason. This is a team we might be playing at this very field again later in the postseason. So I need you guys to come correct, and I need everything you guys have in that tank. I really like the Rams today. It's why I took the +3.5 early in the week. SPJ, you're with me on that one. And I do think that they're coming in a little bit angry. The reason I also like this one is just because the secondary for Philadelphia is not the same. Both Darius Slay and Isaiah Rodgers, 2 of their best cornerbacks from last year, are gone. This year, their best cornerback is a second-year slot cornerback in Cooper DeJean, who has been fantastic. No hate to that guy. He has been so good. But he is a slot corner that is going to play a predominant amount of snaps in the slot. Dory Jackson is ranked 91st out of 95 potential cornerbacks in coverage grade and just overall cornerback grade. Then you have a guy on the other side in I can't remember his name, but he has not been good either. This Eagles secondary is not good. And we saw it in week 1 against Dallas team until we saw CeeDee Lamb with those drops after the break. We didn't really get to see it in week 2, but honestly, we did a little bit with Travis Kelce dropping what should have been a game-winning touchdown. I think this is a situation where the Rams come in and catch the Eagles riding up on a high. We saw Saquon on the sidelines last week, boys. They know what we're doing, and they still can stop us. They still can stop us. I'm just saying, if I'm in the league, forget about the Rams. If I'm in the league and I'm watching that, I'm like, all right, I got something for that ass. Bring it. You know what I mean? Like, it pissed me off as a fan of a different team. Imagine if you're playing for that in that
kind of an Eagles fan.
No.
Yeah, sort of. You were at one point, different green. I'm with you. I took the Rams. I was already kind of leaning that direction earlier in the week. You wrote about it earlier in the week too, and I liked what you had to say about this Rams team. I think this is going to be a true test for the Eagles. This is the first time I feel like they're actually facing a proper elite football team to start the season. I know it's weird to say that. They just played the Chiefs last week, but Chiefs are 0-2. So we'll see how they fare. We've got a special guest joining us on the back half of the hour, boys. We've got Mr. Gretzky Betsky's in the house. What's up, dude? How we doing?
Oh, we're hanging in there.
Sexy
Oh, we're here.
Yeah.
Steve Betsky's on Pacific time, so he knows.
When I first hopped into the StreamYard, I thought V was in a robe, and then it hit me. We need to do
denim robe.
It's a denim
We
robe.
need to do a show where we're all in our robes.
Ooh,
with our
should
hot
we have
coffee
a Sunday robe show? Chat, would you guys like
Yeah.
that?
We need betting news robes. That's what we need.
Don't tempt the graphics department, dude. The graphics / merch department will be scouring the internet for betting news robes now.
Just so you guys know, chat, our graphics department is just this little elf in a closet that's always working on new designs.
Yeah,
Yeah, fucking
it's like an
giant
Oompa
elf.
Loompa, but
A
Giant
giant
elf.
elf.
he has like football leather skin,
6'7" elf.
colored
Our-
hair.
Our
Will
elf
Harris.
is the Will Ferrell elf.
Yeah.
Will Ferrell. Exactly.
Yeah.
Go Birds from the chat.
Go
What do you
Birds.
like? Betsky, welcome. We already talked through quite a bit of the slate, but we're on this Eagles-Rams game. Do you got any thoughts on this one?
I love the plus 3.5 for the Rams too.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, I absolutely love that.
Let's go.
Let's
Triz,
go.
what do you think
Boys are
about
on
this
it.
game? I know, right?
I
Other way.
okay. Yeah. Unfortunately, just I don't know. It's just the type of better I am, man. It's just what I am. I know that the books incredibly need the Eagles today, and the Eagles being one of the best teams in football and being as dominant as they are, I feel like them being in a sharp spot is never like a good equation, especially with a hook. With a hook, the books really need the Eagles and the hook, and they're giving them the hook. It's like, I don't know. How do you not take the Eagles in the hook here? I earlier in the week I was looking at this matchup and was like, yo, this Rams team, everything that like you guys saying, this Rams team's really good. This is going to be the best team the Eagles have faced in a long time. Matt Stafford playing really well, most weapons he's had in years, but the Eagles with the hook and the books need it. That sold me.
And this is, come on now.
Yeah.
You're the tinfoil guy.
They
You
need
got to
it?
think that this comes into it.
Do they always need it?
But
Yeah.
They did a
I
lot
feel like
last week.
yeah.
I mean, Jalen Hurts last in the league in average depth of target. They've the offense. AJ Brown is not creating separation. I mean, there's some question marks, but I get it, Triz.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that I have so many square bets today. This is the worst.
Sorry, V. Is separation your new potential assist in the NBA?
I would like to say it is, but I've been exposed to so many new stats this NFL season. I'm literally like reading all day that it's a whole new world. That's what it is for me this year. It's a whole new world.
Saucepan deep in his bag. Deep
Yeah,
in his
hopefully
bag.
we stay good this week, because if not, all that lab work, it just gets a little more frustrating at the end of the week when the bets don't hit. You know.
Deep in the data lab, not so deep in the name department, though. So we'll work on that. And that department don't exist in Vsauce's brain. However, the data lab, though, master's degree.
Third string quarterback for the Eagles. Come on.
That would be a hell of a name pool. All right. Interesting. As Trizzy said when we started the show, you guys kind of all touched on this. We're going to find out today about a lot of these doggies, and let's see which ones are going to be barking and which ones aren't. There's interesting spots out there. Last one, boys, and this is another one that kind of ties into this. I'm glad Betsky's here for this too, as our kind of honorary Trevor Lawrence lover of the panel.
Oh yeah,
Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Texans here. -1.5 is this line, kind of creeped around to the 1.5 line. Texans +1.5, over under set at 43.5. Huge game in the AFC South standings as of right now. The Texans looking to not drop to 0-3. The Jaguars looking to kind of rinse what that kind of fall apart against the Bengals happened last week. Two teams that could really use a dub in South Florida. Besky, since you just joined us, what do you kind of think about this game? Any thoughts here?
Oh boy. This one's really confusing me. I think the over feels really low. Am I crazy? Like, to me, that seems like the easiest thing to snatch from just from our lines here. I really just have a hard time thinking Houston goes 0-3 too. And I mean, getting them at plus 105 feels really nice.
I agree with that assessment. I don't want to bet either side, though, respectfully.
I know.
Because of
I know.
Yeah. This just feels. Go ahead, Triz.
It crossed zero.
Yeah.
It did, in fact, cross zero. The Texans open minus 1.5, and they're getting bet to all piss. And somehow the Jaguars are the favorite right now. Sharp as hell, like confusing me as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like kind of throwing my mind in a blender because I like everything, all the contrarian in me wants to take the Jags so bad, but that team sucks. And on top of that, I think CJ Stroud is a pretty serviceable quarterback in the NFL, and they're due for a bounce back. So I'm sure everybody else thinks that as well. And this line is moving the other direction, and I can't really pick out why. I don't know if it's a pump fake or.
I mean, I will say this, and I might be because I'm fully fucking bucked out right now, but like the Texans look like shit. They should have won that game. The Bucks have gotten away with some shit this year, so I don't know what's gonna happen in this game at all because the Texans should have won. They should have.
The offensive line for the Texans is their biggest concern for me. Their offensive line is terrible. Could be one of the worst units in the entire NFL. The Titans have a bad one too, but the Texans' offensive line sucks. And if CJ Stroud has less than 2 seconds every time to throw the football, that's a recipe for losing most of the time. So what were you going to say, V?
I was going to say, Trizzy, like, I know, but we were talking to Dave Mason on Friday, and he said, like, they've been getting their teeth kicked in, but it usually felt like it was a lot more of those public games, like a lot of primetime spots, a lot of the games where there's, like, a high bet number. But you and me, we've kind of been looking at some of these sharp spots, and it's not – I guess, yes, we are looking at the splits, but we're looking at the sharp spots where the lines are not making any sense, right? Mm-hmm. Yes, we look at the splits at the end of the week, but a few spots through 2 weeks, we've been looking at, like, the Colts in week 1 against Miami. That was one I didn't believe in at all. And then the Colts in week 2 was one that we both kind of agreed on. Why is this line sitting here? This Jags line is sitting just like that. And I don't think it's one that people want to bet on. And I think that that's exactly why you'll see this, like, Vegas does not give away free money. And I can't say that enough. I'll probably say it 1,000 times this season. But that's what Trizzy's taught me. Vegas doesn't give away free money. So if we're looking at a line, it's sitting there for a reason, whether it's the lack of offensive line, whether it's the Jags offense now having some more weapons. Speaking of more weapons, that leads me right into my prop, boys. This is one guy I haven't bet ever because he's a rookie. Travis Hunter, over 38.5 receiving yards. This is a team in Houston that has a fantastic pass rush. Will Anderson Jr. has been top 5 this season in pass rush, in pressures, and he looks elite on that defensive line. I truly think that this is a spot where Travis Hunter's been playing a majority of his snaps in the slot. I know that he's only played 44 offensive snaps in back-to-back weeks, and last week he saw a little bit of regression in that department because they did use him more defensively. But this is a team where they need their slot wide receiver against a Houston team that struggles in that department. You have guys on the outside that are absolutely elite. I think Hunter is going to come in today and really thrive in that slot position. He's second in target share on this team so far, despite only playing about 50% of the offensive snaps. When he's on the field, he is touching the ball about 25% of the time, boys. I love those numbers. I think the usage is fantastic. And I think Liam Cohen really tries to use him a lot more on the offensive side in a divisional matchup with the chance to go 2-1 after a game that you probably should have won last week.
On that same note, I didn't know you were on Hunter today. I'm taking Brian Thomas Jr. Good old brain. Give me Brain. For a lot of the reasons you just said, but Brain's due for a bounce back, boys. 12 targets last week, only caught 4 of them. Got a lot of slack in the media in lots of different ways because he looked like kind of soft. Was he going to catch the ball? But he still got 12 targets. He had 7 targets in week 1. Just kind of a slow start to the season, but this guy can take the top off the defense. I know Stingley's probably going to be matched up with him quite a bit, so you're getting that kind of matchup situation, but this guy's so due for a big game. And the Texans are susceptible defensively in certain areas. They are a good defensive unit. Stingley is a very good corner, but I do feel like that they're going to try to get Brian Thomas Jr. going. Maybe Hunter also gets going too. Maybe it's a little bit of both. This is just this feels like just one of those situations where I just want he's going to have a big game eventually. And against the divisional opponent, why not today? Also worth noting before we kind of wrap up talking about this game, Nico Collins has destroyed the Jacksonville Jaguars in all of his games against Jacksonville. 100-plus yard receiving, both games against them last year. I mean, torched them. Maybe he's in a good spot today. I didn't end up betting it straight, but I think that Nico could definitely get involved with what we got going on. We got another guest that's joining us. Better late than never. We've got that's turning into 6 horsemen at this particular point. Hello, Sheffrey.
Hello.
Welcome to the program. How we doing?
Thanks. Happy to be here.
Glad to have you. Better late than never. Real quick before you start, can you please mute the Discord beeps just because?
Oh God, yeah. All right.
Please, thank you.
Let me mute myself.
We know you're a popular guy.
Popular
Discord
chef.
loves
Yeah.
you, but we want to hear your beautiful
Closer
voice.
it gets to kickoff, the more it pops off. Chef, where's the slip? Chef, where's the slip? Chef, link.
Yep,
Like
all those things.
1,000
All
times.
those things. Yep, Chef's in the house. Let's go. We told you you'd be here. And we got Betsky in the house. Well, final little 30 minutes. We got to keep going, boys. We got a lot more games to get to. We're going to run out of time. Part for the course. But drop a dub if you're enjoying the show. We're going through every single game with you guys. Any final thoughts you guys want to talk about with this Texans Jags game before we move on?
Bayshall tootin'.
Mm-hmm.
Get you on the toot train. Yep.
Toot
Tootin'
toot?
today. Yep.
What's Tootin' going to be tootin'?
Dude, it's 25 rush yards is +1. That's plus money. Like across every book I've looked at so far. He had 42 last week, 32 receiving. I have him in a dynasty league, so I was reading a bit about him this weekend. His efficiency metrics are just doing laps around ETN right now, and I still believe ETN is the main guy as of now. But I think they're going to be working him in. And we saw both White and Bucky have some success against the Texans last week. So,
Chat, if you didn't pick up on that, go stash Tootin right now on your bench in fantasy before this
Yeah.
week goes off. This is a stash that you don't want to have to pick up on the waiver wire next week.
yeah.
Rootin' tootin'. All right, let's keep it going. We go to the late afternoon games. 4 games to get to, boys. So we're gonna have to hustle, but we will figure out how to get rocking and rolling here. I don't know how much time we're gonna spend on this one, so maybe we can start with this one and maybe we can move past it with ease. Saints taking on the Seahawks. Seahawks -7.5 here. News did come out that Jackson Smith-Njigba was questionable for this game, but he looks like he's good to go with an illness. Saints haven't been very good to start the season, but they've been a little better than on paper, maybe possibly 7.5 points, a little juice towards them covering the spread over under 41.5 in Seattle. Trez, I want your thoughts on this one first before we kind of give it to everybody else from the line here. You kind of sussed out by this 7.5 points?
No, not really, because again, they're still giving you the. I feel like the thing that you would think this is sharp this week, it's actually like the opposite, because again, the Saints are getting tickets, they are getting money in on this spread, and they're still giving you the hook on the Seahawks. Again, this Saints team's been pretty feisty through the first 2 weeks of the season. Last week,
Yeah.
Rattler had a great game last week, 3 touchdowns, and again, coming in here, getting 7.5 against the Seahawks. I want to lay the Seahawks 7.5, but again, it's too sus. It's way too sus. You would want to take the underdog in the spot, but because they're still giving it to you, and now we're about 50 minutes from game time, I'm staying away from it. I like the under in this game. I do like the under in this game. It seems like nobody's really had a problem scoring on the Saints, and the total's pretty low in this game. So I think that Seahawks defense might provide Rattler some fits. I did hear JSN's a little banged up with an illness or something like that. I did notice one thing. I know Zach Charbonnet is out. There's a backup running back for the Seahawks that is listed as at the same price to score a touchdown on every single book. It's plus 360, and I think his name's Halani. I took him straight to score a touchdown. Just because it doesn't make too much sense to me. Maybe they just have a really big rushing attack today. They still want to take a little bit of a break away from Kenneth Walker with Charbonnet being out. Maybe he touches the ball a little bit. I'm not sure. This seems like one of those games where some weird touchdown scorers are going to score. And the fact that that guy is the same exact price across all books, a little sus to me. So I ended up taking it plus 360, backup running back, score a touchdown.
Interesting.
That's why you guys tune into this show, because Tootin in the first game to finish it off, and then the backup running back no one's ever heard of from the Seattle Seahawks probably to score a touchdown back to back. That's how we rock and roll. What are you going to say, sir?
I was just gonna say I that's interesting, Tris, because I did see some people on Kenneth Walker, which is probably pretty public. But like I did also see people saying AJ Barner for a tutty, maybe Arroyo for a tutty with this tight end. So I like that you're putting on your hat and you're thinking like a little different zig and zag for this game, because I think that's what you have to do approaching this game. Because Kenneth Walker, he's been good with his yards per carry, but like you're saying, Charbonnet is out, and like now it's gonna simplify their game a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Chef, since you're joining us now, what do you think about this game? A little bit of an interesting one. You got any thoughts on the Seahawks Saints game?
Honestly, no. That's probably the only one that I haven't dug into.
Okay.
I think I love the check down to Kamara always. And I think his line's probably 4.5, maybe 5.5 for plus money. That might be something that I tap into. But other than that, I have not dug into it too much.
Word. Before I let V kind of wrap it up on this game, then, and Betsky has any thoughts too. I am on JSN. I took his receiving yards once again at 73.5. I know he's a little. I don't know if he has his tummy hurts or he's got a little bit of a cold or whatever. He's a little banged up, but he's going today. And that's good news for the Seahawks. This guy's been targeted like crazy the first 2 weeks of the season. I think Sam Darnold's probably going to give him 10-plus targets once again. Saints have been getting torched in the secondary. They have no pass rush as well, so you're giving Sam Darnold a lot of time back there to kind of stand there and dink and dunk on this defense. I think that JSN has another opportunity to have a 100-yard game. So I'm not scared that he's sick. Flu game incoming for Jackson Smith and the Jigba. 73.5. I think I'm seeing 70.5 out there, so you're getting a little bit of a discount in comparison. I don't really care. I think you should probably flirt with 100 once again. So give me JSN. I like that. I do like what you guys are saying, though, about this Saints team. I mean, I took them last week to cover the 3 against the Niners. They probably should have. They threw that game away in the last possession. They almost covered week 1 as well against the Cardinals. That was a close one, too. So maybe they covered this week, but I don't really have the stems to bet it. So, Sauceman, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm weird. Maybe I think the Saints are better than people think. Like Trizzy said, Spencer Rattler kind of put on a show. The only reason I didn't want to take the points here with them is it's their first first outdoor game here of the season. And we know sometimes that can get messy when you play a majority of your games in a dome. Spencer Rattler making his first road start. The offenses looked good. The defenses looked bad. And I think one guy that nobody really talked about was like Kamara props. He had finally a big workload in week 2, saw 21 carries, I think 5 receptions. So he touched the ball a total of 26 times. A guy like Juwan Johnson currently leads all tight ends, I think, in target share. And in targets, he's looked fantastic too on that side of the ball. Not only, and this is a guy we know, like, I don't know if you guys know this, but he's a converted wide receiver to tight end. He used to play wide receiver, so he's got the skill set that comes with being that guy. And it's been on display. He had 15 fantasy points last week, 15 fantasy points the week before, and it's not really just touchdown dependence. You can look at his receiving yards if you want. You can look at his touchdown prop if you want. I think if they're going to score points, that he presents a certain matchup, like opportunity, a mismatch opportunity, I should say, for this Saints team. But outside of that, I didn't really get to the window. I did write about JSN. I love him. I was unfortunate to hear about the flu or whatever that is, but give me flu game JSN. I'm all the way here for it.
I'm with you, dude. I love it. Betsky, final thoughts before we move on from this one?
Nah, let's move on.
All right, let's go to another game, which glad Chef's here for this one because Tracy's got big thoughts on this one. This is going to be one of our rhythm bet of the days. We're going to jump in and we're going to go to Chicago. The Bears taking on the Dallas Cowboys. Over-under set at 50.5. Huge handle on this game. Lots of eyeballs coming in on this one. +1, -1, +1.5, -1.5, depending on where you're shopping either direction. Like I said, over under is 50.5. Two defenses that's basically like that gif of those two clowns fighting in the parking lot, just beating the shit out of each other. Maybe we see a bunch of points in this game. We shall find out. But Triz, I'll let you lead us off, and I'll let you kind of provide a little bit of our partners. You ready to dance, big dog?
Oh yeah, let's go. Let's go. I love this.
This is the rhythm of my life. My life. Oh yeah. I know you wanna say it. This is the rhythm of my life. This is the rhythm of my life. This is the rhythm of my life.
All right, boys. So this is my favorite bet of the day, for sure. Chef may disagree. He knows this team a little bit better than I, but I don't bet teams. I bet lines. This line makes absolutely 0 sense, in my opinion. Other than the Bears being at home in this matchup, they have done absolutely nothing to be 1 point underdogs to the Cowboys, and not only 1 point underdogs to the Cowboys, they opened as the favorite in the matchup. Since the Cowboys getting absolutely hammered on tickets, on money, this is the biggest need for the sports books today. They need the Bears to win, and I am going to trust that spread 100%. I'm going to trust Ben Johnson. DeAndre Swift, a little banged up, still did not matter. The spread has not moved in any sort of fashion. Caleb Williams not looking that good. I know DJ Moore's a little banged up. The spread makes 0 sense. I've tried to wrap my head around it all week. I can't. Again, a spread that is getting 18% of the tickets and 20% of the money is +1. So I'm gonna ride that to the wheels come home. I don't bet teams, I bet lines 100%. This line does not make any sense. I trust Ben Johnson to probably get his first win today at home. I think Caleb might end up lighting up this Cowboys secondary a little bit. We've seen Odunze playing really well. Again, I said DJ Moore's a little banged up, but he's bound to bounce back eventually. Last week, he was very, very quiet. He was very quiet week 1 as well. Caleb was trying to force him the ball a little bit, threw him a few hospital balls week 1. I think he could bounce back today as well. And the over in this game looked absolutely free. Now it's gotten to the point where it's like, is it that free? Because it hasn't moved too much. You would think this is again, this is a Cowboy, a Bears team that gave up 50 last week themselves. So again, Cowboys haven't been able to stop much either. Russell Wilson looked like a world beater last week. So again, I think this is a very, very, very sharp spot for the Bears. And one of those games, again, you look at the Cowboys' upcoming schedule, they got a couple of tough matchups here. This could be one of those look-ahead games, one of those games that nobody's really expecting them to lose. They think they're going to run through the Bears and then really move on to the harder matchups towards the end of the season. And I think they could drop this one. I really do. I think the Bears end up taking this game today. Might be a slugfest, but I just think Caleb's going to roll. This line's too sharp. It's way, way too sharp. I'll gladly be wrong here.
This is also a good opportunity with our friends at RITHMM as well, because Trizzy's been all over this play. And as you guys know, Trizzy's reading the lines, but also our friends at RITHMM with their data also loves the Bears, as you guys can see on the screen. You can get involved with RITHMM as well and get everything that they offer on their app and their website. Get Vibes 25 is our promo code. Get 25% off as well if you want to line up and get involved with those woofy Bears. Chef, you want to talk about why you hate the Bears a little more now after all that?
I mean, I'll just say, from a sides and totals perspective, Trizzy's the GOAT. Like, we all know that. Like, he reads lines. He is more often right about these things, which is totally fine. And I believe this analysis. I believe that. But after everything that I've been through over the last however old I am, being a Bears fan, I will never, ever, ever, ever put money on the Bears again, because I think I did it twice last year, just out of whatever squad, right, or whatever we did, and it made the loss that much worse. That's the problem. So, Trizzy, you're probably right. As a Bears fan, I wish you the best of luck. And I pray that they don't do any more heartbreak than they've already they've already done to me in my lifetime. So good luck, best of luck, and hopefully we at least have a good game. But we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I kind of feel the same way with you, Chef. I see where Trizzy's coming from here, but this is one of those games that I feel like can be right for the picking from a props perspective. So if you don't want to necessarily put your hands on the Bears or the Cowboys on a side or the total, I think there's going to be a lot of props in this game. Two of my favorites are here. I know V and I kind of agree on one of them, but I'll start off with Roma Dunze over 4.5 receptions. -128 was the line here. It's up to -140. If you want to pay a bit of juice, you can also take it to the 5.5 for plus money. 6 and 7 catches in the first 2 weeks of the season has been Caleb Williams' #1 targeted receiver on this offense. I think that we're going to see something similar again. The Cowboys are also 25th in receptions allowed, have been getting torched on that side of the football. Obviously, with what Trizzy was just talking about, with Russell Wilson looking like a god last week. Malik Neighbors too. So on this side, Roma Dunze 4.5 catches. I like the yards too if you want to go that direction, but I do think he's going to get involved early and often. And then on the other side, nice and chalky. Not going to overthink this. Give me CD over 79.5 receiving yards. The Bears can't stop a nosebleed in the pass department as well. Amon-Ra went crazy last week. They have been letting wide receiver one so far this season have their way, and I think that we see something similar once again from CD, the most targeted wide receiver by far from Dak Prescott, and has had 100 yards in both back-to-back games for week 1 and week 2. So don't understand this line. I think it should be closer to 84, 85, depending on where you're shopping. Maybe it is, but I think CD's primed for another 100-yard game once again this week with a lot of targets. So a couple props kind of ties in, you guys, if you don't want to take a side or a total here. Sauce Man, what do you think about this game?
Exactly what you just said. I think CD is fantastic. I think Rome's going to be in a great spot today. Both these pass defenses have been just dog shit. Not only are not good in coverage, but they're not generating any pass rush. And that's a big fucking deal. When you give quarterbacks time in this league, they're going to pick you apart. Not just that, but the wide receivers are just way too skilled for you to expect them to stay covered for that much longer. You give time for routes to develop, and then you're looking at a team like the Cowboys that run exclusively zone schemes. They don't run any man defense. Through 2 weeks so far this year, they have not run a single snap of man coverage. That is exactly where Rome kind of eats. He loves zone coverages. He did it last year too, and it's because he is a strong physical receiver that's not afraid to go over the middle, that's not afraid to find holes on the defense, and that's exactly what he's done through the first couple of weeks. 2 of his 3 touchdowns have come against zone schemes, and I think that's more of it what we're going to see today. On the other side of the ball, I think, Trizzy, the reason you like the over in this one is because both pass offenses are able to put up yards in chunks, right? Caleb Williams hasn't looked the best, but we definitely saw some progression from week 1 to week 2. He looked a lot more comfortable in week 2. He was getting the ball out on time, figuring out a little bit of these schemes. And I don't think the lack of a run game in Chicago has really helped them whatsoever. DeAndre Swift might just not be that guy, and it might be time to look elsewhere. There is a guy in that backfield. I can't pronounce his name, but Betsky probably knows who I'm talking about. The backup right now in Chicago, he's another guy that I would potentially stash too, not just because Swift's been bad, but we know that Ben Johnson doesn't like DeAndre Swift. He's not his he's not his guy. He was the guy he didn't like in Detroit. And I think that this is a situation now where you got to get this run game going. You got to do something. So I like both plays. I like the over in this one. And I am with Trizzy on the Bears, man. I think this line is too sharp for me to pass up. The Colts helped us in weeks 1 and week 2. And I hate to do this as a Packers fan, but go Bears, go, man. Go Bears, go.
Kyle Mungangi is who you're thinking of.
Sorry, say that again, Betsky?
Kyle Mungangi.
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah. He was a nice little 4th round pickup in dynasty drafts. I have him in 2 weeks.
You dirty dog.
Yes.
Betsky,
right where I got Bucky Irving last year.
Let's go.
Now you're getting so excited. You got any bets on this one, dude?
No, I did a little thing with laddering Roman and CD, and that's how I'll dip my toe in. But now I'm going to look for the Mungangi lines. He had 28 yards rushing last week and 8 yards receiving off 1 reception. If Swift's banged up and he's getting an extended role, that made look pretty decent.
Nice. Sook, you got any final thoughts before we move on?
No, let's keep it moving. We're at the 2-hour mark already.
I know we're about to be crossing over the 2-hour mark. Drop a dub if you're enjoying the show. A couple more games to get to. I love how we started the show earlier, boys, to not have this happen, and we're probably going to have it happen today. That we're going to be up against it. But here we go. Let's go to Broncos taking on the Chargers. Another divisional matchup here. The Los Angeles Chargers are 3-point favorites right now. This line has jumped all over the place. I got a pretty good line when I started looking at this one earlier this week. It's pretty heavily set on 3 in most places now. Over under set at 46 flat or 45.5, depending on where you're looking. I'll lead it off. I don't have major thoughts on this. I got an earlier line this week, so I won't sell it to you guys too much. I like the Chargers -1.5, but I would highly suggest if you want to take the Chargers to find a 1.5 for some juice, because that 3 line is looking at me funny now. The Broncos have not looked very good to start the first 2 weeks of the season. Chargers have looked awesome. I do think this is an opportunity to kind of assert themselves even further, especially in the division with the Chiefs kind of falling off a little bit too. And this could be a stranglehold win for the Chargers for them to go 3-0 and also notch a divisional win as well. But I got the 1.5. So, I know Betsky's on this in another capacity too. I think you got the 2.5. You want to talk a little more about the Chargers?
Yeah, I mean, I have liked what I have seen. This is a team that feels like last year was the test, and this year the vision has been executed. The defense is one if not, I would say, top 5 in the league right now. Herbert is rolling on all cylinders, and I said the preseason I had concerns about Knicks, and while last week he looked a little bit better, it's still not. I'm not sold on him yet. And then this being in LA is just tipping it for me. I just don't. To me, this line doesn't make that much sense.
Triz, ruin our souls.
Moved a lot.
Yeah, I'm on the Broncos +3, brother. I'm on the Broncos +3. I paid this morning when I was on Fanatics. It was already 3. I didn't really have to buy a point, but it was -115. That's what I took it at. This line makes that much sense. Bet all the bets, all the money coming in on Chargers. They're being hammered, and the line's moving the opposite way, and being at home. Typical sharp spot. I wouldn't consider myself a contrarian if I didn't take the Broncos +3 today. 100%. Like, I'm all over the Bears today. I'm all over the Broncos today. I think those are 2 of the sharpest spots on the board. The books really need them. As we were talking with Dave Mason the other day, they got their teeth kicked in weeks 1 and weeks 2. I do not see that happening again. And if they're going to get any 2 plays, it's probably going to be either the Browns game or this game, because these 2 have the highest percentage on the shortest spreads. They're going to be I'm sure the Chargers are going to be in lots of parlays today. I know the Cowboys are in every parlay today. It's not that easy. It's never been that easy. This is, in my opinion, one of the most fixed sports we can bet on. And I'm all over the contrarian side in this. The Broncos have not looked good. The Chargers have looked fantastic. Jim Harbaugh's had that team firing on all cylinders. Besides Amari and Hampton, he's kind of looked like he's getting a little bit of a slow start. I think Najee Harris might see some more carries today. I've noticed his rushing yards line last week was 15. Now it's jumped up to 25.5. Think there's probably some rhyme or reason to that. Again, you're giving a divisional underdog on the road 3 points against a team that's looked as good as the Chargers have. I got to take the Broncos.
I feel good having the 1.5 for the Chargers, because we could both win here. They could win by 2. So one of those. I know Betsy got the 2.5, but I think it's gonna be very interesting. Yeah. Well then, 3 and you push. So
I think if the Chargers win, it's 3 and a push anyway. So that's why I was very comfortable with the 3. It's a divisional matchup. Most of these matchups are settled by a field goal or less anyway. So could just be one of those where it's so sharp that it lands directly on the number. And the 2.5, them not giving you the hook all week would make a little bit more sense in both aspects.
Anybody else got thoughts that hasn't spoken about this game?
It got me all hot and bothered, though.
Ooh, all right.
I'm ready to take some underdogs, just not the Bears.
I think I don't have any official bets on this, but I think McConkey's in store for a big day. There was a lot of unrealized yards last week from what we saw. Some moments where Herbert just kind of missed him open downfield. If he's just given it a second for the play to develop, I think he's due for a big game this week. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him have 100 yards and 6-7 catches.
I think that
the Quinton explosion has been interesting, but I feel like it's going to cool down a little bit.
I agree.
Sook was saying this earlier, V, that your potential assist in the NBA was whatever he mentioned earlier. I think it's unrealized air yards is actually now your potential assists in the NFL.
Separation or unrealized air yards, one of those.
I can just tell you wide receivers are my 3-point shooters. I can say that for sure.
Correlation exists. All right, let's move on. Talk about the any final thoughts on that one before we move to the last game in the late window?
No. So that's Broncos +3, but you guys are on Chargers. Gretzky and SPJ are on Chargers.
Yeah, I got the 1.5 though. I like that way better than 3.
We're like laddering this.
Yeah, 1.5 minus 2.5, and then Trizzy's on the +3. So you guys can take it however you want to take it. It just goes to show you though that this line is one of those games that's pretty sharp. So we'll find out who's on the right side of that one. Last one, another divisional battle between the Cardinals and the Niners. The Niners coming in 2.5-point favorites here. I haven't seen the news about this, boys, but I'm pretty sure that Mac Jones is still starting. I know that Brock Purdy was trying to maybe give it a go this week, but I'm pretty sure it is Mac Jones once again. The line has dropped to 1.5. It was 2.5. It's now 1.5. I'm looking at right now. A divisional battle, like I said, we all kind of feel maybe a little more strongly that the Rams are probably the cream of the crop in this division. But an interesting one, 44.5. The total is 44.5. Now it was 46, as you can see. Any thoughts on this game? Anybody got any strong feelings about the Niners or the Cardinals here in this spot?
The spread feels incredibly short. I'll say it. The Niners are a good team. Mac Jones looked all right last week. But I don't know. The Cardinals have a chance to start 3-0, Betsky, and I know that the vibes in Arizona and Phoenix in general must be fucking through the roof. Marvin Harrison Jr. hasn't gotten the target share maybe you would expect, but the offense has put up points. I know that maybe 2 ugly wins against 2 uglier teams, but a win's a win, especially in the fucking NFC West over there. It's a tough division to play in, and they are one of 2 teams now that are sitting 2-0. You have a divisional matchup here against the Niners, a backup quarterback. I don't know. It feels like Kyler Murray and company might have a little more to say tonight or today.
I have no thoughts on this game.
Yeah,
this game is weird, man.
Are you worried that they're underdogs? Is that where your worry is? That they're 3-0 underdogs against a team like the 49ers?
Me?
No, Betsky. He looks scared or something. I don't know.
I mean, I just don't feel like we can judge this team the Cardinals at all. They've played the Saints and the Panthers.
Yeah.
I feel like, and I could be wrong. I am just going based off my gut and watching the Cardinals. And they're not my team per se, but being out here, we'll catch the games. But
yeah,
I feel like they get wrecked in San Francisco too. I could be way off base here, but I feel like it's been a disaster every time they're in San Francisco. But let me look it up.
I like San Fran a lot today. I'm just going to say that.
Mac Jones is arguably one of the best backups you could have, right? And it kind of makes me wonder how different he is than Purdy. I think Purdy obviously has a little bit more of a rushing upside here, knows the system well, but how many QBs have come out of LA or San Francisco and have completely rejuvenated their careers? And I don't know.
Trizzy, 66% of the handles what I'm seeing on the -2.5, but that line hasn't fucking moved.
Mm-hmm.
Why has the line not fucking moved? 56% of the 61% on the money line. We're seeing a high bet number. We're seeing a high handle percentage, but the line has not budged. And this isn't a road game for the Niners.
No.
Talk to me.
I was looking at the Cardinals today. I really was. I was looking at them. They're in another one of those sharp spots that we've been kind of talking about all day here. The whole board is absolutely sharp, and I think it's incredibly interesting that this is the sharpest week of lines after the books got cooked the first 2 weeks of the season. I don't think that's by coincidence. I do believe that is intentional. Again, another divisional matchup here. maybe that's why they're not giving out the 3 because it's a divisional matchup. But I don't think Cardinals have looked that good. They barely held on to win last week. I would bet against them. I was on the Panthers +7 and that cashed. So I thought Mac Jones led that offense pretty well last week. He was very serviceable. Like I said, anybody in Kyle Shanahan's offense is pretty plug and play, but a guy like Mac Jones specifically, who's kind of a game manager, is going to be even better.
Mm-hmm.
So
The guy you wanted to draft over Trey Lance too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
and
he did want to. Yeah, he wanted.
They
to
went
if
with the
Kyle-
generational talent from what everybody
Yeah.
was saying, but Mac Jones was his guy. That was the guy he wanted.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yep, for
Yeah,
sure.
Danny made a really good point on the last show about how Shanahan's offense is, as long as the quarterback is serviceable, like you can make somebody look really good, which is the whole argument is why Brock Purdy maybe didn't deserve his money. But like Mac Jones looked really good the last week, and I think he can probably do something similar once again here. So yeah, I'm with you guys. This line's sharp as hell. I think the Niners is probably the way you want to do it, but I can know, man, the birds are interesting too. This one's a funky one. I have nothing in this game at all. And we've come to the end, boys, and we are over the 2-hour mark, so we need to get out of here soon. The kickoff is 20 minutes away. We need to cook our touchdown parlay, boys. We talked about a lot of plays with you guys in the chat. We appreciate you guys sticking around with us for the last 2 hours. Thanks for hanging out. We do this every single Sunday, 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central, to kick off your NFL week. So come and hang out with us for the rest of the season. Vibes are high. We pitch out a fuck ton of plays, and hope you guys enjoyed everything we had to say today, and hopefully we make some money as well. All right, boys, let's tap it off. Who's scoring a touchdown today? Let's figure it out.
We were close last week on that freaking.
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson, man, really fucked it all up. Somebody ghost-legged it though, and was able to smack. So let's
Nice.
let's get over the line. Yeah, let's get over the line this week. Who's scoring a tutty, boys? Where do we want to start?
Does it matter with juice or what?
I would prefer to not like minus 150s and 60s, maybe more.
Okay.
I know we
Possibly
usually
plus
kept
20.
it to like minus 115, like if we really love it, kind of.
Panthers defense plus 800. I'm just kidding.
All right, now.
That was
And he's gone.
Hey,
He's back. He's back.
All right, boys. What do we think about Devontae Adams as a good starting leg? Not too crazy, not too, you know what I mean? Back-to-back weeks. I know it's a little bit tough, but this is a guy that puts up touchdowns. He is a guy that had 9 touchdowns, I believe, in like 10 games with the Jets last year.
Mm-hmm.
He's leading the team in target share in the red zone and target share in general. He had, 4 red zone targets last week? I think on one drive, Matthew Stafford went to him 3 times from about 8 yards out, and they didn't score until the second half.
You don't have to keep selling us. It's all good. You guys want to take Adams, or are we in? I'm in. I'm down.
I'm in.
Plus
I'm in,
180.
sure.
Cool.
I'm going CD plus 106. You guys down for CD?
If you agree, Chef, that's good. We're only going 4 legs instead of 5.
Yeah,
we're
we're only
going
going
4 legs. Yeah.
Was that going to be your Chef?
That was going to be mine. That's okay though. I have
What's it-
any-
combo.
That's
I've
that's
heard-
great, then.
No. Okay.
Yeah,
Did you have
we need
another
4
one? You
legs.
said?
No. Go for it. Let's do it. Let's a 4-legger.
All right, so CD, Devontae, Betsky, what are you thinking?
I'm in between Zach Ertz
That's gross.
and Jordan Mason. Let's do Jordan Mason.
Yeah, I love Jordan
Yeah.
Mason too. You should do that.
I really
I think
do like
he
that
might be
Zach
the
Ertz. Dude,
Jordan Mason might be the only touchdown scorer of that whole game. I really do think so.
Minus 125. Why is Jamar Chase plus 150? What is that?
I know.
That's crazy.
Because
Yeah,
There's not
I know.
any-
Minus 125 for Mason. That's all right. That's enough juice. All right, Triz.
I know.
give me Scary Terry. Plus 220.
I love
Give me
that.
Scary Terry. Give me
Love
Scary
that.
Terry plus 220.
From
I
old
think he
Marcus
has a
Mariota.
great game. I think he has a
Mhm.
great game.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I love that, Triz.
All right,
Yeah,
boys.
do it.
CeeDee Lamb, Devontae Adams, Jordan Mason, and Scary Terry.
Oh, I
Plus
love
3,000.
that way.
Plus 3,000. That'll get your plums moving. All right, chat, there's our touchdown score lay. We're probably not going to have time to post it on the timeline, so you guys just get it right here as the benefit of tuning into the show today, which is how it always works. Scary Terry from the Commanders, Jordan Mason for the Vikings, Devontae Adams for the Rams, and then CD Lamb. Can we just get to CD? How dope would it be if we get to CD in the late window and we get to sweat out CD in that Bears game? Plus 3,000, depending on where you're shopping. Bing bong. Let's go. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Great show today, boys. NFL Week 3 is here. 15 minutes till kickoff. Thanks for tuning in and hanging out with us right here on the Betting News Network for the Gridiron Gang. That's Chef T. Go give him a follow if you haven't already. That's Gretzky Betsky's. That is Vsauce. That's Trizzy. For Just Sook as well, my name is Sweatpan Jesus. Stoked to have you guys for the last 2 hours. Boys, you guys got anything else before we hop up on out of here and go watch some football?
Every Sunday, it's like Christmas morning. You just get to be able to sweat it out with their boy. And we're all doing really well on our article bets, so go check those out.
Yeah. Go check out the staff article for free at bettingnews.com. We're 9-3 last week. We cooked. So go get involved with all the stuff we have over there as well. Go follow all these guys on the screen. Go follow us on socials at Your Betting News as well. We appreciate you guys so much. We'll catch you next week. Big thanks to our sponsors at Bet Online and RITHMM. Trish is going to be like this watching that Cowboys-Bears game. We'll find out if that ends up being the case. You guys came for the winners and you stayed for the vibes. Enjoy the NFL today. We'll catch you guys tomorrow right here back on the channel. Give us a follow. We'll see you on the next one. Take it easy, chat. Peace.
What you know about rolling down in the deep? Down in the deep. Now I know y'all be loving this shit, right?